It's a Wonderful Life was released in 1946 and has become the definitive Christmas movie. Frank Capra's tale of a suicidal man shown the value of his life by a wingless angel, the film is a story of hope, community, and the impact we have on those around us. My name's John, and the building and loan associates with me are Luke.
I want a big one.
Westy.
That does it. Out you two pixies go, through the door or out the window.
And Matt.
Happy New Year to you. In jail.
It's Christmas Eve in Bedford Falls, and ATRM are spreading some holiday cheer as we talk the film that proves no one is a failure who has friends. Hot Dog. Hello and welcome to All the Right Movies. We serve hard drinks for men who want to get drunk fast, and we don't need any characters round to give the joint atmosphere.
Correct.
I'm looking at you, Matt.
Yeah, I'm going after this, don't worry.
We tell the story of Hollywood one film at a time here, and this Christmas, all four of us are here because we've got one of the biggest there is.
We sure do.
We do.
We're going all the way back to 1946 to talk Jimmy Stewart, Angels Without Wings, and spread general Yuletide fun as we bring you the making of Frank Capra's holiday treasure, It's a Wonderful Life.
Nice.
Perfect.
Saying that as if we didn't know what was coming.
We're here for It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what we're doing? Excellent.
Dropping that on you from nowhere.
Yeah. No problem.
Yeah. I'm all prepped for Bad Santa, but never mind.
That's why we're all here, just to help each other out a little bit.
Well, no pour this time. We did just dive straight in, like an underground swimming pool. So we should probably explain, Matt, why are we talking about It's a Wonderful Life?
Yes. I mean, like a lot of people, this one's very personal to me. I remember it being on in the background when I was a kid at Christmas, but I never paid that much attention to it. But I can vividly remember one year I'd finished sixth form for Christmas, came home, started the Christmas holidays and thought, you know what, I'm going to give this a proper watch. I want to see what the deal is. Why do people love this one so much? And since then, it's been the absolute cornerstone of this time of year for me. Like any other Christmas film, it's fine if I don't get around to watching it, but not this one. And it's a very rare film in that the older I get, the more I get out of it somehow, the more I sympathise and understand what George is feeling and going through.
Yeah.
But also, more importantly, how to recognise your own importance in life and view yourself through the perspective of others, which I think is really important.
Yeah.
It takes you on an incredible journey. And after all these years of doing this podcast, I've never cried on a recording yet. Let's see if that still holds up by the end of this one.
We shall see.
First time for everything.
Yeah.
What it's sticking around for.
Yeah. Yeah.
2.5 hours.
2.5 hours.
And Luke, how about you and It's a Wonderful Life?
Yeah, I mean, this was only a matter of time. The best Christmas movie and the best movie podcast together at last.
Nice.
I didn't watch the film until into my teens like Matt. I'm not too sure if it was so much of a seasonal standard in the UK as it is now. Obviously, it was in the US. I don't really feel it took hold until the 90s, so it wasn't really a thing when I was that young. Over here, at least, anyway. But I did love it on first watch. I think there are a handful of films that have elite level status. We've covered the majority of them. The ones that could be considered the greatest in their particular genre or greatest of all time, and I think this is one of them. I think it's up there with the likes of The Godfather or Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
And it's a yearly Christmas staple for a good reason. A true classic, and its inclusion on the podcast, I mean, it was just a certainty.
Definitely.
It was bound to happen at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see It's a Wonderful Life when I was a child. I mean, not a small one. I was about 14, 15, I think, first time I saw it. It was on one Christmas Eve, I think, on BBC Two. It's on every Christmas Eve in the UK, isn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously, I'd heard about it and knew it was a classic. Didn't massively interest me as an uncultured kid. I was more interested in Home Alone or A Charlie Brown Christmas.
Brilliant. Still great.
Which are both still awesome, obviously. But when I watched it as a teenager, I did think it was great. Seen it many times since, so looking forward to getting into how we all feel about it now. And beyond the emotions, of which there's a lot, there's loads to talk about. Jimmy Stewart in the lead, obviously. Donna Reed opposite him. First time for us with her. And with Frank Capra, directing at the peak of his powers. Mm-hmm. Some highly acclaimed filmmaking and a behind-the-scenes tale that doesn't always match the joy we see on the screen. So
Certainly doesn't.
It's a really interesting one.
Very true.
And yeah, it's a Christmas special, so where better to go than It's a Wonderful Life, the true meaning of Christmas classic. So this should be great, I think.
Yeah.
Well, guaranteed.
And Westy, you're here to sing the praises of Mr. Potter, presumably.
But possibly, yeah. I mean, he's the hero for me, let's be honest. No, it's an absolute tradition for us. It was my dad got into this and sat with down, so you have to watch this on Christmas Eve. And every single year since then, I remember the first time I saw it and I'd just been absolutely kind of transported by it. Just that feeling of joy. Even now, if you've just watched the ending on YouTube, it still hits you, even though you haven't gone through the whole film. It's very, very rare for a film to do that. I think there's just everything about this is just beautiful. Acting, I think the way it's shot, the way it's all realised. Not only the ultimate Christmas film, but I think the ultimate feel-good film. It's just one of them films that now I worry every year that it's not going to hit as hard. I keep thinking, I've seen it too many times. This isn't going to work this year. And it always does somehow. It always seems to pull it out of the bag and smack home. And unfortunately, it just gets more and more relevant every single year. I think people forget the actual message and the actual tone of this film is just, it's about community and it's about selflessness and it's about caring about your fellow man and caring about somebody else. And people keep forgetting that every year. And every year this comes back and reminds me, it just really, really is a universal film. It's one for everybody. I'll recommend it to anybody and I don't get sick of it. And I'm really excited to talk about it.
Oof.
Well, It's a Wonderful Life is produced by Liberty Films, distributed by RKO Radio Pictures, and released on December the 20th, 1946. Filmed at RKO Pathé Studios in Culver City, California, it was directed by Frank Capra, written by Capra, Francis Goodrich, and Albert Hackett, based on the novella The Greatest Gift by Philip Van Doren Stern, and it stars James Stewart as George Bailey, Donna Reed as Mary Hatch Bailey, Lionel Barrymore as Mr. Potter, Thomas Mitchell as Uncle Billy, and Henry Travers as Clarence Oddbody. Angel second class, but not for long.
Not for long.
No.
Shall we step into Christmas then?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Okay, brilliant. Time to lasso the moon. It's Bedford Falls via deep space, weirdly.
Yeah, always forget about that.
It's the beginning of It's a Wonderful Life.
The beginning.
Many of the famous moments in It's a Wonderful Life come in the final act, but that's not to say the first act is filler. Far from it, and we're going to talk about some huge sequences. A young George Bailey becoming reacquainted with a young Mary Hatch at a pool party is coming up, but before that, we're looking at some major character introductions.
We are.
Mm-hmm.
So after a toe-tapping Buffalo Gals opening credits sequence to lead us in, we're thrown right into Bedford Falls. It's Christmas Eve and everybody's praying for George Bailey. The first scenes bring us a trip to the cosmos to meet Clarence, a trip to 1919 to meet young George, and the youngster's life in his hometown. Mm-hmm. Do you wish you had $1 million, Westy?
Hot dog every time. Yeah, definitely.
Well, what do you think of the opening moments?
I think the opening moments are great. I especially love the introduction to George here. I think he's great, so well played. And it's lads, innit? Lads doing what lads do.
Lads.
I mean, who hasn't done this? Sliding down on a spade, on a snowy bank. Fantastic stuff.
Like a shovel, innit?
Really dangerous. Really hazardous, but that's just kids, innit? But I think it's a foreshadowing in this of all the characters. It's Harry shows his bravery, says he's not scared, foreshadows what he's going to do later on in the film.
Yeah.
He shouts for George for help, even before he kind of gets into trouble. Just before he falls in, he's screaming for help from George. George is going to help. Mm-hmm. And it's how selfless George is. He's just, everything's off and he's straight in without thinking about it. So it's just these great character moments. It sets up Sam Wainwright's EO. You're going to get that later. You're going to think he's going to grow out of it, but he doesn't really, does he? Grow up, Sam. Get a hold of it. No idea how he's successful in business, but I guess you've just got to be childlike for that to work out. But it's just a great introduction to everybody. Marty's in there. You kind of get everybody and know everybody. There's this individuality to the group. But to me, that doesn't seem that deep when Harry falls in, does it? What's he bothered about? Just get out.
Just stand up.
Just terrified. I just stand up. It's not that deep. But again, I mean, it's just a foreshadowing. I love in this. I love there's like a sign there that I'm not sure if that says it's Potter's Land or whatever. And some people have said that. I know it was in an early version of the script. But there's just all these little bits that kind of point to it. But yeah, it's great character setup.
Yeah, I love how it starts. The first thing we see in the film is a montage of the shots of Bedford Falls and the voiceovers of all the people praying. I love that. It sets up the final act, and it does establish this is a Christmas film, even though the next 90 minutes won't mention Christmas at all.
No. Not at all, yeah.
And then in outer space, with God and Joseph, as you do.
Yeah.
And Clarence, obviously. And that dissolved transition from space to all the boys sledging to take us in, that's great. I love it.
Really slow dissolving it.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And narratively, it crams in loads. We meet George, we meet Harry, his brother, and Clarence. The sledging accident that leads to George going deaf in his left ear. And the fact that George saves Harry, it does set up a huge and pretty dark moment later on. We'll talk about that, obviously, but I think it's really beautifully shot as well.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of young George's check woolen jacket. It's great.
Lovely number.
They don't make them like that anymore.
No.
Nice piece, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love the visual of this. It looks like it could be a Christmas card, you know, just as Wesley's been saying, just the lads going out sledging.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those scenes where when you come back to it, it has so much more resonance because it's big enough, obviously saving your brother's life. That's massive. But you don't expect that to have further ramifications, but it does, as we've been saying, we'll get on to.
Yeah, great.
We will indeed.
You mentioned that there, John, we see Clarence talking to God and Joseph about George through the first act.
Yeah.
In one of the first versions of the script, though, it didn't cut to space. We actually saw them. The big man wasn't there, God. We would see Benjamin Franklin as the head angel going to see Joseph in his workshop where Joseph was working on a new invention.
Nice. Franklin, like.
BF.
The big man.
Well, yeah, in the Bible, Joseph's a carpenter, hence the workshop. So it's quite a funny little idea.
Yeah.
But once it changed to space, though, it would have been a bit odd if Ben Franklin was just in there for no reason.
Yeah.
Flashing star.
Is he sick? No, worse. He's discouraged. Is that worse?
Of course it is. Miles worse. Yeah, in the first draft, the sequence where George says Harry's life was different as well. Originally, the boys weren't sledging. Get this, they were playing ice hockey.
Wow.
Even more dangerous.
Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, and they were playing on the lake, which is part of Potter's property, which is what we've touched on earlier there. As they're playing, Potter is looking at them furiously from his mansion with his binoculars, probably, or a telescope. Then just pans up to space. That would be great. And George hits the puck into Potter's yard, so Potter releases the dogs on them. The boys make a run for it, and that's how Harry falls in the ice, where George then saves him.
Mr. Burns.
Mr. Burns.
Yeah, releasing the dogs.
Release the hounds.
I mean, Potter pretty much is Mr. Burns, isn't he?
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Need to get Maggie on the case.
Yeah, first thing to say is that George is full of effervescent energy. The kid George, that is.
Just a bit.
Yeah. I love how he announces himself to Mr. Gower with his full name. It's me, Mr. Gower, George Bailey. How many Georges are on staff? Second is the two actors playing young Mary and Violet. They are absolutely glorious.
Yeah.
Violet, she's a bit of a floozy, but George sees right through it. Help you down.
Yeah,
Great. But the real winner here is Mary. She's full of poise with her back to Violet. I'm still thinking. And when Violet leaves and it's just her and George, it provides such an incredible strong foundation for the rest of the film. Mm-hmm. These two go this far back. When Mary says, George Bailey, I love you to the day I die. Poof,
Yeah.
I'm goner already. Forget about it.
And she does.
Yeah. But is this scene sponsored by National Geographic? Because George proudly displays it here when he's talking about his adventure spirit as like a TV ad.
Yeah.
Want to get his name in the National Geographic.
Only us explorers can get them. Amazing.
I mean, it's a charming little scene, I think. Ladies man, young George, isn't he?
Oh,
fighting them off with a stick.
Of course he is.
Shoelaces. Just tell them what she's having. She's having shoelaces, of course you are.
I mean, obviously we see Violet and especially Mary become adult characters later on, but yeah, even here, Violet knows what she wants. Mary goes, you're like every boy. What's wrong with that? And then George is like, I'm going to travel and I'm going to own a couple of harems and maybe 3 or 4 wives. Isn't he like 12?
Yeah.
But I love the set as well of the drugstore.
Yeah.
I mean, almost all the films filmed on RKO sound stages, and the production design is fantastic. It starts here.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and then after this, you get like the next big event in George's life. And mark this one down because this is the first time that I cry during this film.
Yeah.
But not the last.
What's happening over the last, trust me.
It just starts here and then it's consistent from here.
I mean, when he saves Mr. Gower from poisoning that kid, but Gower doesn't realise what he's done and he thinks he's just been skiving. I mean, it is still shocking to this day just how brutal those slaps are. Mm-hmm. And what it does, this sets up the recurring theme of George's life in this film. He tries to do something good and he just gets punished for it straight away. You cannot catch a break. But the way it cuts from Gower just laying into him to those reaction shots of Mary flinching at the sound of each slap.
Yeah.
Like, she can't even see what's happening, but the sound is so effective. That's how horrific it is. But then you get Gower's realisation of what George has just done for him and what he's likely saved him from. That is so effective. And when he goes to hug him in gratitude and George just backs away from, don't hurt my sorry again, don't hurt my sorry again. Like, I'm 20 minutes in, I don't think I can take any more.
There's no Jimmy Stewart yet, but I think all these kind of like prequel scenes, they're really important in setting up George's character.
Yeah.
We've already heard he wants to see the world. Then we see here that he's brave, he's moral, he puts others before himself, even when it costs him. And that's his character throughout the film, really.
Yeah.
I think it's all really well set up in the writing. And the beating is pretty brutal. Capra doesn't shy away from it. Mr. Gower gets stuck right in. It's nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, for a film that's remembered as this warm Christmas classic, there is some dark stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Very much.
There's more to come, but this is probably the first, I think, of those moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, the actor who plays young George is Bobby Anderson. And he had an incredible career. His film debut was The Grapes of Wrath in 1940.
Wow.
But this was his biggest role at the time. And then he was in another Christmas classic a year later in The Bishop's Wife.
Yeah.
He then moved into production design and worked on Columbo,
Nice.
the 70s series of Wonder Woman. And the last film he worked on was Demolition Man in 1993.
Amazing. I read that, yeah.
All the classics. Imagine Snipes and Stallone showing up here. Carnage in Bedford Falls.
What's your boggle? Be great at.
I think Bobby Anderson's pretty good as young George.
Yeah, he's great, yeah.
Slightly theatrical at times, but that's fine. It all works.
Yeah.
The time, isn't it?
Yeah, it ties into the excitability of him, I think. The ambition.
Yeah. And young Violet and Mary, we should mention as well. Jeanine Ann Rose played Child Violet, her only ever film credit. And
Right.
Jean Gale played Mary. She was in loads of films afterwards, but not like as a lead or anything. She's a chorus girl in Singing in the Rain.
Right?
Oh, wow.
Nice. Okay.
Great.
Look out for her there, yeah.
And Mr. Gower is played by H.B. Warner, and his career preceded cinema. He'd been in silent films as far back as 1914 and was most well known at the time for playing Jesus Christ in Cecil B. DeMille's 1927 version of The King of Kings. And that was a huge film.
Big shoes to fill.
Huge.
Huge sandals to fill there.
And that was a huge film, but Warner ended up typecast afterwards, and Capra kind of brought him back into the Hollywood fold. He cast him in You Can't Take It With You, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, and then as Gower in It's a Wonderful Life.
Typecast as Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Like Robert Powell.
Robert fucking Powell.
I was surprised to learn that he was a big star in his younger days, H.B. Warner. Do you know Sunset Boulevard, Billy Wilder film?
Yes.
The famous scene where we see a bunch of real silent film stars playing poker. They're like playing themselves as characters in the film.
Yeah.
Buster Keaton's there, Anna Nielsen, and one of them's H.B. Warner. He's in that scene as well.
Nice.
Cool.
Okay, nice.
Great.
I love this scene because there's no element of assumption for the audience whatsoever. In the foreground, poison. Black letters on it.
Yeah. It's like a Tom and Jerry cartoon.
It is, yeah. Big like, skull on it with crossbones. As good of an actor as H.B. Warner was, Bobby Anderson said that he was actually drunk in this scene. And it always kind of freaks me out because it is such a genuinely good drunk performance. He is gone. When he sits down and looks at the picture of his son, it's like, oh, there's nothing else on his mind.
Yeah.
And the tears that are coming down his face, the confusion that's happening, and he was actually slapping Bobby Anderson for real.
Wow.
Like, he was, all them tears were real. And he just said as soon as H.B. Warner finished, and Capra yelled cut, and he'd finished, he just, Warner hugged him, and he's just so apologetic. So that scene is actually how it played out in real life, which is amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I mean, Christmas classic or not, there's no reason for slapping a 12-year-old, surely.
No.
Definitely not, no.
Didn't go slapping Buster Keaton about, I bet.
I bet not, no.
Wouldn't dare.
But in an earlier draft of the script, this sequence played out quite a bit differently. In the film, when George finds out Mr. Gower has put poison in his prescriptions, he goes to see his father, but gets kicked out of the office when he shouts at Potter. He then goes back to the drugstore. But the earlier draft, George turns to Uncle Billy next. Billy lights a cigar and throws it in the wastebasket, which catches fire. Billy starts yelling for help, and Tilly, George's cousin, she puts the fire out with a pot of coffee, which means George has to deal with it all by himself.
He's a piece of work, Uncle Billy, like.
Liability.
God almighty.
Look at Norman Wisdom.
But you know, it's a well-written film when even the scenes they leave out sound pretty good.
Yeah.
We do get a similar scene in the building in Lone. That's the first time we see Uncle Billy and Potter and Peter Bailey, George's dad. Potter's being really horrible to Peter. It's awful.
Yeah. Straight away. Yeah.
So no Jimmy Stewart as George just yet, but still a pretty promising opening to It's a Wonderful Life.
Definitely.
Oh, incredible.
Crying already.
Yeah.
Tears.
From there, we flash forward 9 years. George has turned into Jimmy Stewart, Mary has become Donna Reed, and their paths cross once again. We attend a school get-together that turns into a pool party, then see George walk Mary home, giving us one of the most famous scenes and lines in the film. Mm-hmm. Have you offered to lasso the moon for a woman before, Luke?
No, but I'd often like to.
We put you back out.
Yeah, I mean, it's all frivolity at the Bailey household before the party, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jolly Japes upstairs, everyone's having the best time. Harry's having some fun with Annie, asking about those pies and chasing her into the kitchen like a Benny Hill sketch. That big wind-up slap that he gives us, absolutely outrageous.
It's a full moon tonight.
Yeah. But this is where the seeds of the rest of the film are sown. The weight of family ties, the desire to break free, Potter's evil omnipresence as well. The business of nickels and dimes. George doesn't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
That's this film in a nutshell. It also reinforces George's bad ear. How's that?
Yeah, every time. I love that, yeah.
And it ends with his dad telling him to go and chase his dreams. But the writing's on the wall for George. And it signs off beautifully with him saying, I think you're a great guy. It's about time one of them lugheads said it.
Yeah.
There's some great jokes in this. It goes from humour just to this absolute like emotion. It's great.
No, it is.
And you say, yeah, you got a match when he's walking past him. I love that every time. Just howl every time. Brilliant. Oh, let him have the plates, mother. But yeah, Pop, you want a shock? I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
It is great.
Yeah.
It's not one of the most spectacular or famous scenes, I don't think, in the film, but really important. It is where we get the introduction of one of the biggest themes, the value of community. Because Peter says normal people do most of the working and paying and living and dying in this community, and he wants to look after them. So it seems that this is where George gets that belief from his dad.
Yeah.
And it's great because it's the start of George's arc too. He kind of mocks the building in Lone here. He calls it a shabby little office.
Yeah.
And obviously by the end, he bloody loves the place.
Oh,
a bit too much, if anything.
Yeah.
Because he learned its value. It's about what it does for people, really. So I think it's really well written. And there is some humour in there as well with Annie, the housemaid, snooping about, clearing the plates.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, to call Annie a stereotype nowadays is a bit of an understatement.
Yeah, a little bit.
But Lillian Randolph, who plays her, she's great.
Oh, she is. She's wonderful.
And get this about Lillian Randolph. Tom and Jerry, you know the housekeeper? Thomas?
Thomas?
You only ever see her legs, but it's Lillian Randolph's voice.
Oh, wow.
No way.
What a fact.
How great's that?
I was going to say that, like just in jest, but that's amazing.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, on rewatches as well, it kind of hits home that this is possibly one of the last conversations he ever has with his dad.
Probably is, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the last time we've seen them together, for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
And talking about him, Pa Bailey, he's played by Samuel S. Hines, and he was also known to the audiences at the time because he'd been in over 100 films by this point. He'd been a regular in the Dr. Kildare medical drama series and had been in Capra's You Can't Take It With You in 1939, and that led him to getting cast as Peter Bailey.
Great.
I was hoping you were going to say he was the voice of Yosemite Sam or something there, but no.
Sadly not, no.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's not in the film for long, but I think he's good. Samuel Hines.
Yeah, he makes an impression, yeah.
Yeah, it happens off screen, but I do kind of feel his death when it comes a bit later
Oh, it
on.
hangs over it, doesn't it? It hangs over the rest of the film, definitely.
It does, yeah.
So after this, George gets an invite to go to Harry's party, and he accepts, obviously.
Of course he does.
Fantastic. Loads of kids everywhere. No gin tonight, not one drop.
Oh.
And I absolutely love this scene. This scene is just such fun. It's just such a joy. When he sees Mary, like that introduction to Donna Reed is just so incredible. When she just turns and just, it's just incredible every single time.
She's the real angel here, I think.
Of course she is.
It's just like a dream, and it's just the light in here is so soft and it's just so welcoming, and she just looks amazing. It's just so good. I love the fact that there's just all these little bits of this dialogue. The more you watch this film, the more you get from it. The fact that the pool underneath was his idea, the fact that he's actually still doing all of this architecture and all of these designs, and he still wants to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this again. Do you think this is like inspiration for the hand drive sequence in Grease?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Possibly. It's got similar vibes to it, yeah.
Because they turn it into a competition, and it's like tapping people on the shoulder and you have to leave. And it's like, oh, that just reminds me of Grease all of a sudden. It's just fantastic. And so I love that.
I think this has inspired scenes in loads of classic films as well.
It has. The more you watch it, you just think, oh yeah, they've just taken that little idea and made a kind of film out of the whole thing. And it's just great. I love the introduction. I love Wainwright turns up here yet again. You know, Harry's in the centre of the party. Marty comes over and sets him up with his sister, his younger sister. Like, I wouldn't set anybody up if I had a younger sister. Any of my mates, I'd be like, why don't you just stay away, right? I don't give a shit. Don't dance with her. Don't get anywhere near her. End of story. The Charleston starts and they're not very good at it. And that pool starts opening. It's just wonderful. It's not funny where you don't roll your eyes at all. You just go, this is just amazing. And just the dialogue here, we must be really good. Everybody just screaming as they're getting closer and closer. And he's just like, yeah, and they're absolutely crap. They're really not very good at what they're doing at all. But that one line, I mean, does he deserve it of just telling that kid just to stop annoying people? And I have the keys, or I'm going to ruin the whole party because of George Bailey's attitude.
It's an overreaction, like, isn't it?
It definitely is, but it works so well because it works in George's favour. Because he gets Mary. He's going to get Mary anyway, but it's just such a joy to see, and you just do not expect it. I still, like, every time it happens, if I'm watching it with someone who hasn't seen it, the joy on the face when that pool starts opening is just excellent. Great scene so early in the film.
Yeah, it's great.
It is, yeah. I love the intro to Donna Reed, obviously.
Obviously.
Neither George nor Mary are the greatest dancers in the world. George's Charleston crazy legs thing is outrageous.
Spaghetti leg. Yeah.
It's funny, though. He does something earlier in the Bedford Falls streets as well, where he waves at someone and does this weird bend thing with his legs.
Like Basil Fawlty.
John Cleese. And those two pranksters who open the floor to reveal the pool. Really dangerous, that, surely.
Yeah. Could kill somebody.
Yeah, but there's hundreds of people there. The floor starts to move. Everyone realises and stops, just except for George and Mary, who just think everyone stopped to watch them. Crazy legs, George. I don't think so. But yeah, it is obviously a key plot point in the relationship with George and Mary, and really memorable way to do it as well.
Definitely.
I do find it's a little strange that Jimmy Stewart, a man, let's be honest, a few years off 40, is at a high school party.
Yeah.
And he's greeted here as if he is in town as well. He's like Don King. Everybody wants a piece of him. Yeah, I'm like you fellas. That first shot of Mary, her reaction when she sees George, stunning.
Yeah.
And that chump who's talking to her gets what's coming to her. George is like, why don't you stop annoying people? Well, I'm sorry. Hey.
It's a what?
Outrageous. And that dance, I'm not very good at this. And then he does some kind of like Michael Flatley light-footedness, but he really lets himself down with that grandpa hand, knee, cross.
Horrible. The party scene that we've been talking about was filmed at the Beverly Hills High School. It had a real retractable floor, which was state of the art at the time.
Nice.
It was built in 1939, designed by an architect called Styles Clement. It was a 25-yard swimming pool underneath a basketball court,
Yes.
which, if you don't know, is where the term slam dunk comes from.
Ah, brilliant.
Not really, I just made that up. But Capra had heard about it and specifically went after it for the scene, which is great.
Great.
The swim gym, it was known as, which is a good name.
Slam Dunk's a much better name.
And it's still there. It's still used by students to this day. And the two guys who opened the pool floor, one of them's played by Carl Switzer.
Right.
He was known to audiences at the time. He'd been a child actor and he played Alfalfa in The Little Rascals.
Oh, okay. Right, yeah.
Yes.
He's a little rascal, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he looks like the cover of Mad Magazine, that guy of Mad Magazine.
Yeah, sticky out ears, yeah.
Alfred Newman.
Which might have been based on him and the Rascals, to be honest.
The extras who volunteered to jump in the pool were paid an extra $25 as a bonus.
Nice.
And apparently when they filmed the moment that George and Mary fall in the pool was a bit of a problem because Jimmy Stewart was wearing a toupee, a rug.
Was he?
Wow.
And the first time they filmed it, it fell off like Maury.
Maury in the pool, amazing.
Maury's wigs don't come off.
I like that bit in the pool as well, where they're in the water and George carries on dancing with Mary and she's laughing her head off.
Yeah.
Surely an ad-lib by Stewart, that. It looks like one.
Yeah, it must have been.
Yeah, it looks it.
And then after this, the walking home. And this film has got so many shifting tones. And when it wants to be romantic, it's really, really romantic.
Yeah.
Like this scene. I mean, I think the chemistry between these two, it's so convincing. They've barely been able to take their eyes off each other since they first met in the gym. They're not even thinking about the fact that they're walking home in sopping wet clothes. They're going to be freezing to death here. And Stewart and Reed are so good when that fella shouts at them, like, why don't you kiss her instead of talking her to death?
Yeah.
It's a shock because you think, oh, hang on, there's other people around. It's just this feeling in the scene, there's no one else in the world apart from these two. They're just so caught up with each other in that amazing dialogue about throwing a lasso around the moon and bring it down. Mm-hmm. But as I say, it's the tonal shift. It goes from romantic, it goes to playful when Mary loses a rope and has to hide in the bushes, and George is just, this is a very interesting situation.
I love that. Yeah.
Really funny. And you're so engaged with it back and forth between the two of them. You'd be happy for this to be the rest of the film. But then it shifts again into tragedy when Uncle Billy and Harry pull up in the car and tells them the father's had a stroke. So there's a lot of tones packed in this little scene, but it's all about the interplay for me. These two are great here.
It is great. So the film spans 26 years, 1919 to 1945. So over the course of it, Donna Reed plays Mary between 18 and 35. And Donna Reed herself was 25 at the time, so that works pretty well. She's always believable as Mary.
It's believable.
No way, though, can 37-year-old Jimmy Stewart pull off playing 21-year-old George.
Not at all.
In this scene, he's wearing like a football strip when he walks Mary home. Like a beanpole. He reminds me of Goofy, like lolloping down the street.
Clown shoes.
It is great, though. We get some of the most iconic moments from the film. The Sing Buffalo Gals, George says he's going to lasso the moon for Mary. So massive stuff. And just some random pervert across the road. Why don't you kiss her already? They do that in quite a few scenes, adding characters like in the background just for humour, which always works really well.
Yeah, very much.
I think it's really important that we see the Granville house in this sequence.
Yeah.
That's just a real kind of foreshadowing for what happens later on. Jimmy Stewart, straight away, top window, boom.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing shot.
Crack shot.
Yeah, it gets me every single time. But the other thing that gets me here as well is the foreshadowing. It's very, very subtle, but the more you see it, it's very, very, very good because her wish almost ruins his life because she wishes for him. She wants to live there with him. And so no matter what he wishes for, it isn't going to come true because her wish seems to be stronger and he doesn't expect her to break the glass.
Nice.
And I think it's her desire for this to have this life and for this wish to come true that she actually does break the glass, and it's believable that she does it. I think it's just really, really good. And really, really good foreshadowing that he doesn't really know what he's wishing for. He's like, just a whole bunch of things. I want to go here, I want to go there, I want to do this, I want to do that.
Yeah.
She knows exactly what she wants. And I think if you know what you want in life, you've got a very good chance of that wish coming true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned Jimmy Stewart's shot.
Yeah.
In this scene, Mary throws a stone as well. Capra had actually hired an ace marksman to shoot out the window on cue.
I love that. It's really 1946 then. How else could you do it?
Billy Friedkin to get a sniper in?
Yeah, just have someone behind it with a hammer. No, I'm going to get a sniper. All right. Yeah.
But Donna Reed had played baseball in high school and she did it herself in one. Crack shot. Brilliant.
Oh, amazing. First take, wasn't it?
First take, yeah. Hell of an arm on her, Donna Reed.
Round of applause from the crew as well, I've heard. Yeah, really, really good.
And we see adult Violet Bickey for the first time as well, and she's played by Gloria Graham. And at the time, she was under contract at MGM and was loaned out to RKO to play Violet. She'd had small roles in a couple of films before this, but this was her biggest role at the time. And she went on to become a big star. She was in The Greatest Show on Earth, which also stars Jimmy Stewart, I think, and Oklahoma, and also won an Oscar in 1952 for The Bad and the Beautiful.
Brilliant.
All right.
Yeah. Melodrama by Vincent Minnelli, that.
Yeah, it's a good film.
Yeah, she's only in a few scenes here, but I think Violet's really good.
Ah, she's great.
She's great.
Turning everyone's heads when she's walking down the street.
Yeah.
Bert and Ernie, the cop and the taxi driver.
That's great.
It's that horn sound as well.
Classic cartoon.
I love that. Yeah. It's really Who Framed Roger Rabbit at that point.
Yeah.
It is. It really is.
It's pretty big at the end in Pottersville as well when we see Violet getting kicked out of a club and she's like out of control. I find that quite sad.
Yeah.
It's like, I know Potter. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
But yeah, I do like Gloria Graham. She's not in it much, but even here, I think you can see she has star quality.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, she's really, really good.
So that's our opening. It's a Wonderful Life has a huge reputation, and with sequences like George saving Harry, Mr. Gower beating George, and then George and Mary swim dancing all in the first half hour or so, it's easy to see why.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Without doubt.
To help us earn our wings, we'd love to let you all know about the wonderful community supporting what we do. If you're a regular listener to our podcast, you can help support what we do by becoming an ATRM patron. You get access to the full archive of this, our main show, as well as bonus shows like Double Feature and The Watch List. They're both pretty good as well, aren't they?
Incredible.
We have Double Feature, which features three of us, and we'll pick two films each that are thematically linked, either with it being a director or an actor or whatever else we can think of to bring two films together, really. We compare, we contrast, and then the winner from the actual episode gets a chance to be featured on this, our classic episode.
2 films per episode. It's like sherry and a mince pie.
Exactly.
Leave them out for Santa.
And we also do the watch list. This is another monthly show where we each talk about 2 films we've seen recently, and it's very simple. We either recommend them or we say no, give them the big swerve. Could be something recent, could be something that needs a bit of a rediscovery.
6 movies there then. That'll get you through the holiday period, no problem.
Indeed.
But the benefits don't end there. You'll also get the chance to ask questions on our main show, like the ones we'll be answering on this very episode. And you get to vote on future films that we cover as well.
So unlike that Potter, we actually listen to what people want.
Definitely, yeah.
ATRMsville.
And you'll become part of the ever-growing ATRM community where you get to talk films with some fantastic film fans, and you might even get the chance to become our patron of the month.
Oof, exciting stuff.
Yeah, no one's a failure who has friends, and there's plenty in our community. So head to patreon.com/all the right movies to find out more. Or you can access the archived episodes across Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube as well.
Mm-hmm.
Have we missed anything out?
I don't think so.
Great. We've got a better memory than Uncle Billy then, at least.
Well, who hasn't?
No string around our fingers.
Well, that's that for now. Let's get back to Bedford Falls, should we?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
The director.
We've mentioned him already, and the director of It's a Wonderful Life was Francesco Rosario Capra. Frank Capra, for short.
To his friends.
Born in Italy and raised in LA, his career as a director started back in the 1920s silent era, and before It's a Wonderful Life, he was already a winner of 3 Best Director Oscars.
Wow.
Which were for It Happened One Night, one of only 3 movies ever to win the Big 5 of the Oscars in 1935.
The big one, yeah.
Mr. Deeds Goes to Town from 1936, and You Can't Take It With You from 1938. So, a Hollywood directing legend, Westy.
Yeah.
Capra, I mean, you're not there just yet.
Give it time.
Yeah, we'll see.
But how's Francesco here as director of It's a Wonderful Life?
I think he's absolutely fantastic. He's at that point in a career where he's got such a command over the medium. He's got such a command over the technical flair, and he knows the rules, and he knows how to break the rules. And he's one of the very first directors, if not the first director, to have his name above the title of the film.
Great.
So it'd be like Frank Capra's It's a Wonderful Life, because that was the important thing. That was the draw. But it's his, like I've said, his technical flair. I mean, to go into a couple of bits, that freeze frame at the very start from Luke's amazing quote, I want a big one, and it stops there. And audiences must have just been thinking, well, this is broken.
Yeah.
If Clarence didn't have that voiceover straight away, they'd think, well, the reels,
Yeah, sack the projectionist.
we'll get my money back, easily. Now, this is 13 years before 400 Blows, 23 years before Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid did it at the end, and 44 years before Scorsese utilised it so well in Goodfellas. He's really, really pioneering just the freeze frame from the start.
Yeah.
Then he breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Exactly when he needs to. It's not just breaking the fourth wall for a laugh. He does it twice in the film. One is the announcement of them coming in from the wedding, where the woman screams straight down the lens.
Oh, yeah.
That's fantastic, because you're just like, oh, as if we're there, and you're just witnessing it. And then the second one is that breakdown from George, where he realises it's all going wrong, and it's almost the Vertigo shot, but he uses the depth in that frame, and he fills that frame. And this is shot for the cinema. You're going to the cinema to watch this, that's going to fill the screen, and you're going to be terrified. He is straight down the lens, and he knows it. And then the humour that he brings to it, he has this real light, deft touch. Like you said at the top, John, this gets really, really dark really quickly.
Oh.
Just really, really technically proficient, but again, emotionally attached to the material, which really works for me.
Absolutely.
What strikes me about Capra's direction is how he builds Bedford Falls as like a living, thriving place to live, a community.
Yeah.
This town's packed with characters. Mr. Gower, Martini, Violet, Uncle Billy, Ernie the cab driver, Bert the cop.
Yeah.
And somehow each of them feel fully realised, like they've got lives happening beyond the edges of the frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's not accidental. Capra knows what he's doing, because the whole emotional engine of this film depends on us believing that this community is worth saving. If Bedford Falls feels thin or generic, or you don't care about the characters, then that ending just falls flat.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But because we've spent 2 hours getting to know these people, seeing George's small kindness ripple through their lives, when they all pile into his living room at the end, Niagara Falls. Forget about it.
Yeah.
The town itself becomes a character, and I think that's Capra's greatest trick here. He's not just directing a film about one man, he's directing a film about a whole community and how they thrive off each other. Every person matters, every small act has consequences. And it's essentially a tapestry, and Capra's weaving all these threads together so that patiently you don't even notice it until he pulls it tight at the end, that it all comes together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It is. I mean, when you look at his career and his filmography, it's just sensational.
Oh, outstanding.
3-time Oscar winner, second only to John Ford, who won 4. And Capra was nominated another 3 times as well. And what's strange is that it seems he was a bit underappreciated at the time. You mentioned it, Westy, but critics used to call his films Capricorn, like criticising the sentimental style. I think that kind of lack of respect's gone now, though. Clearly a talented filmmaker, and we see that in It's a Wonderful Life. I think it's masterfully directed. You get career-defining performances from every main cast member, even from another Hollywood legend in Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah.
And one of the most impressive things, I think, is Capra's control of the tone. I think in lesser hands, the tone of this film could have been all over the place. At times, it's playing as a comedy, and at other times, it's playing as a really dark drama. And then at the end, it suddenly flips to be like a Christmas fantasy.
Yeah.
But at no point is it ever jarring, or does anything feel out of place. There's loads of examples, but I think a good one is the final act. We'll talk about it in detail later, obviously, but it starts Christmas Eve when Uncle Billy comes across Potter in the bank. Billy's all full of himself, taking the piss out of Potter. It's almost like a comedy skit. And then we realise he's lost the money, and we start to think, oh shit. And the anxiety kind of grows because he can't find it.
Yeah.
It's gradual, but gets worse and worse until it's really dark.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll talk the details later, but Capra guides us through that superbly. One of the best controls of tone that we've seen, I think. And in terms of objective filmmaking quality, I think this stands head and shoulders above all of its peers. The Citizen Kane of Christmas movies.
Yeah, without doubt.
It's like Fairy Tale in New York transcends the genre.
Yeah,
It's not just a great Christmas film, it's a great film full stop. And for me, it's still the benchmark that every other Christmas film aspires to. We're still watching it not too far off 100 years later.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think they'll still be watching it 100 years from now.
I agree.
And it's Capra's film top to bottom. He's all over it. I think it's with what it's became, it's one of the all-time great pieces of directing work from Frank Capra.
Yeah, I agree.
And the thing is, you don't even need Christmas for this to work. It's just a bonus that it's Christmas.
Yeah.
You don't like Die Hard?
Yeah, exactly. Lethal Weapon. We can name them all.
It just brings this real conviction to the material and a real understanding that this needs contrast and balance. The emotional highs you get at the end, they only hit because he doesn't flinch from the darkness, the violence of Mr. Gower, George's meltdown in front of his family. And he has the conviction to make a film that fully embraces the presence of God and angels throughout the film.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's all this humdrum minutiae of small town life, and the two fit together seamlessly. You know, having the conviction, I have a scene where George literally prays to God at the bar.
Yeah.
And you don't roll your eyes at it. But again, it's about the balance, because right after that, George gets a smack in the jaw from the cheater's husband and sends him on his way.
Yeah.
He does.
Right in the chops.
Right in the chops. And some of the visual storytelling still holds up today. I mean, the freeze frame that Westy mentioned. But that scene when George returns home after Billy's lost the money, that's framed like a Christmas card, because you got the happy wife and kids putting the decorations up in the background. Father's just coming home from work.
Yeah.
Except the contrast is George isn't happy whatsoever to be at home. He's utterly defeated at that point. And that contrast is so emotionally rich. So visual storytelling, tonal control, narrative control, he's just got it all here.
The full package.
Yeah, and he doesn't make it overly religious. I don't think of this film as a religious film at all.
No.
No, although it's in there, isn't it?
It's definitely in there, but I mean, it's the whole reason it works. If you look at it from that point of view, you use that as the catalyst. But to me, it doesn't beat you over the head with it. It's like, believe it if you want to.
Yeah.
It just works for George Bailey.
So right at the peak of Capra's career, 1930s, 40s, we had World War II, of course.
Yeah.
After the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, Capra quit Hollywood and he enlisted in the US Army. He was 44 at the time, so didn't need to, but he said that in his films, he'd always championed the poor and the downtrodden, so felt that he had to practice what he preached.
What a guy.
So,
Nice.
a man of substance, it seems like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Capra was commissioned as a major in the US Army. He was there for 4 years until the end of the war, and his job in that time was to direct a series of documentary films explaining to soldiers why they were in uniform. He directed or co-directed 7 documentaries called the Why We Fight series.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so he left the army when the war ended, 1945, and he said that his time in the army turned him into a perfect pacifist, as he called it.
Right.
And he said that mindset fed directly into It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, you can see that, yeah.
Just a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
The themes of community, doing the right thing. But what's weird is that Capra later called the making of the film a 4-month non-stop orgasm.
Wow.
Really?
I'm not a fan of that description at all.
No.
No.
I wish you hadn't told us that, John.
It sounds good, though.
Maybe a month.
So after the war ended, Capra got together with 2 other Oscar-winning filmmakers, William Wyler and George Stevens, and they set up Liberty Films. And the goal was to make movies without interference by studio bosses. Liberty had 9 film distribution deal with RKO Pictures, 3 from each director. And the head of RKO, Charles Kerner, told Capra to read a shelved screenplay they had called The Greatest Gift. Capra loved it, bought it from RKO for $10,000. The name eventually changed to It's a Wonderful Life, and the rest is Christmas movie history.
It certainly is.
It is indeed. Yeah, Capra later said the script was the story I'd been looking for all my life. So it was The Greatest Gift. And in November 1945, Liberty Films announced It's a Wonderful Life as being their first production.
Right.
Which turned out all right, didn't it?
Good start.
In the long run, yeah.
Eventually, anyway, yeah.
Eventually, yeah, I was going to say. It didn't really work as they planned it to. I think it was only United Artists that was massively successful from that kind of coming together of minds.
Yeah.
There was a problem that Capra had to deal with during production. The film was shot in the summer months and California was going through a heat wave at the time. It got so hot that at one point Capra had to give the cast and crew a day off to recover.
Yeah, so the famous scene at the end where George is running around Bedford Falls shouting Merry Christmas to everybody, it's snowing in the film, but there's certain shots where you can see sweat glistening on Jimmy Stewart's face because it was actually boiling hot when they filmed it.
Yeah.
And production began on April 15th, 1946 and wrapped on July 27th, 1946. It was scheduled for 90 days and Capra brought it in exactly on 90 days. Exacting.
Nice.
Very good.
Some scenes were shot on location. The swim gym party that we talked about, the scene where George meets Harry and his wife at the train station, and the scene outside the Martini's house in Bailey's Park were all filmed in relocations.
Yeah, that train station scene is when George meets Harry's wife for the first time and finds out Harry's got a job, so won't be taking over the building and loan. Bad form from Harry, that, isn't it?
It's a bombshell.
Drops George right in it.
Yeah, he apologises, but he's still taking the job.
Yeah.
Of course he is.
yeah. Not that sorry.
Yeah.
So Liberty Films were a new company and the budget was only $3 million. So Capra hired RKO's head of costumes, Edward Stevenson, as his costume designer, and they'd also worked together in 1931 when Capra made a film called Platinum Blonde.
Yeah, a comedy romance with Jean Harlow in it. That,
Oh, nice.
but a pretty natural fit then. Stevenson knew Capra and he knew the studio, so a shoe-in, I guess.
And because they had money limitations, Stevenson cut some corners. James Stewart was on clothing for most of the film, actually, and Stevenson dressed the rest of the cast mostly by raiding RKO's stock wardrobe.
Surely that goofy football strip didn't belong to Stewart.
Yeah, I was going to say they weren't his shoes in that football strip.
I hope
Imagine
not.
Harry turned up with a car. Imagine him having to run home with them shoes on.
The other costumes all work though, I think. I mean, as soon as you say Potter, it's pretty obvious he's the bad guy.
Oh, yeah.
Black suits, starched collar shirts, it's not exactly subtle.
Yeah.
Well, before we sign off on Frank Capra, it's time to hear from our patrons. So, like we said earlier, if you sign up as an ATRM patron, you'll be able to pose questions that we answer on our shows. The first coming now, it's on something Frank Capra is now associated with, the festive film, and it comes from Lou Pellegrino.
Hello, Lou.
Hello, Lou.
Hello, Lou.
So Lou asks, a lot of Christmas movies come and go, but few have the well-deserved staying power of It's a Wonderful Life. What are the elements of an enduring Christmas movie? Good question from Lou there.
Yeah, great one.
What do we think? What makes a great festive flick, Luke?
Yeah, agreed. Well, obviously, nostalgia plays such a huge part. There aren't many Christmas films for me that I've taken to my heart that were released when I was an adult. They're all pretty much, I was watching them when I was a kid, probably apart from Elf and Bad Santa. Maybe the only ones that I watch every year without fail.
Yeah.
But I also think that nostalgia combined with like big dollop of sentimentality and humour and relatability, because if you can see your family traditions and traits, you know, good or bad, play out on the big screen, there's something incredibly comforting about that. But finally, you know, abandoning all of that, put me in front of a Christmas horror film, and I'm as happy as Larry. Black Christmas, Christmas Evil, Silent Night, Deadly Night, all winners for me.
Yeah, I mean, there's a tone that goes through all of the classic Christmas films, all of the best Christmas films. I mean, Wonderful Life's up there, obviously. Home Alone's definitely in there. Die Hard's obviously talked about every year. And there's older ones kind of predating this that have a similar kind of theme. If you haven't seen The Shop Around the Corner, check that out, which came out in 1940, which is an incredible Christmas film. And Meet Me in St. Louis as well is really, really good.
Love that one.
But all of them have something in common. And to me, it's heart and reconciliation and forgiveness and love and second chances. A great quote that if it weren't for second chances, we'd all be alone. And I think that's what a Christmas film is. It's about forgiveness. And I think all of the greats have got that. And if you don't have that element, it doesn't really work.
Beautiful. Lovely sentiment.
I think for me, don't make the Christmas element the only reason for making the film. It's a Wonderful Life doesn't have to happen on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, exactly.
Die Hard doesn't have to happen on Christmas Eve. The Apartment doesn't have to happen over Christmas.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, some do. Any adaptation of A Christmas Carol, The Holdovers, very recent one, Christmas Vacation. But they don't just put up Christmas elements on screen and think, oh, well, that'll do. That's therefore Christmassy. The ones that do that are those just predictable, like Hallmark Christmas movies, and that's the reason they don't last in the memory, I think. Get the story right, and the Christmas elements can really add to it in an emotional way, or a funny way, or a horrific way, if you Luke. But if the story's not there, the Christmas elements won't mean a thing.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I think we've given Lou what he needs to go and write the next Christmas classic there.
Yeah, look forward to seeing what you come out with.
There's
Lou.
all your ingredients.
Give us a story by credit. That's all we have.
Yes, please.
So back to It's a Wonderful Life, that was nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars, and Capra was nominated for Best Director. They didn't win, though. The winners that year, do we know what? Same film for both?
Matt.
The best years of our lives.
It was indeed.
Yes.
Every time. Love that.
And the director was William Wyler, one of Capra's Liberty Films co-founders.
That's right.
Dead End William Wyler.
Yes, the very same.
Ben-Hur.
To end on Frank Capra, I have a quote from the man himself about the film. So he later said, "I didn't even think of It's a Wonderful Life as a Christmas story when I first ran across it. I just liked the idea. But I thought it was the greatest film I ever made. Better yet, I thought it was the greatest film anybody ever made."
Self-praise, no praise.
Brilliant. Love it.
A man of substance, but not modesty.
No.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder what year he said that.
But for us, as one of the Christmas classics, still holding up decades later, It's a Wonderful Life, exceptional stuff from Frank Capra.
One of the greatest.
Yeah, unbelievable. Nearly a century old, man.
The cast.
A Hollywood legend directing things on It's a Wonderful Life, and the same can be said for the cast. 5 Oscar-winning actors, no less, in the film,
Wow.
and we're going all in on 3 of the cast now. Donna Reed as Mary Hatch-turned-Bailey is on our agenda, as is Lionel Barrymore's Henry Potter, but obviously we're starting with the big man.
Oh, yeah.
Of course we are.
So James Jimmy Stewart is George Bailey. A building and loan banker who sacrifices his dreams to help his family and community, George falls into a depression and contemplates suicide before his guardian angel shows him his own value and his family and friends show him the true meaning of Christmas. I mean, just saying that, I'm ready for a mince pie.
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful stuff.
You're always ready for a mince pie.
Well, that's true. How do I like Jimmy Stewart as George Bailey?
I can't think of another performance where an actor can so clearly feel everything his character is going through, because Stewart was going through a lot himself after the war, and he pours all of that into George Bailey. And you can see he's planned out George's journey from beginning to end in his head completely, because the amount of time something bad or frustrating happens to him and he doesn't quite blow a stack. He bites his tongue, he swallows the anger down. You know, little moments like kicking the car door shut when he realises how much money he could have made if he'd got on with Sam Wainwright. And I think one of the best bits of acting you'll ever see in your life is when Harry returns home from college, which George thinks, right, this is my opportunity. I'm going to get to leave Bedford Falls. Harry's going to take over. But he doesn't count on Harry coming back with a wife and an amazing job opportunity. In that moment, no dialogue, maybe 10 seconds long at most. The camera just holds on Stewart's face as he takes in what this means for him. And his eyes are shifting as he's just thinking, I can't take this away from Harry. But if I don't, I'm stuck here for good. I'm never going to leave Bedford Falls. It's an incredible moment.
Yeah.
And he has to be funny. He has to be lovable. He has to be tragic. He has to be scary at points. Yeah, as we've said, he has to dance at the beginning. And the fact that he can combine all these elements into one performance in this journey from youth to middle age, in one of the most compelling journeys you'll ever see. I mean, is it the best performance in cinema history? I mean, that's a very different argument. But it's certainly my favourite performance of all time.
Wow.
Wonderful.
Huge praise.
Yes, George, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, the man with the good face. I mean, it's Jimmy Stewart, isn't it?
Yeah.
One of the most beloved actors ever in his signature role, and it's signature for a reason. When we're first introduced to adult George, he is a friend to everyone in Bedford Falls.
Yeah.
He's been a good kid and there's such a warm feeling with the talk of him travelling. His physical performance is wonderful. He's walking through this town with that enormous suitcase waving at people in the street. It's like JFK or something. Greeting everybody with a beaming smile. That leg thing that he does when he waves at the people in the window, John.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. But this ain't no one-note performance either. Capra doesn't shy away from the darkness and humanity, and neither does Stewart. He's head on with it. He goes through this true emotional roller coaster. Mm-hmm. And he drags you through this film, giving a relatable performance. I think anyone can see themselves in elements of George's frustration, of family ties, of small-town commitments, trying to break free and being pulled back. I think Stewart is this film. There are many other elements that hum here, of course, but Stewart is on fire. If he doesn't work, the film doesn't.
Yeah.
And the reason that the ending hits so hard is because of his performance. He really, really earns it. Mm-hmm. He's outstanding here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Capra, Jimmy Stewart was already a huge Hollywood name by this point. He'd already won an Oscar for the Philadelphia Story and already had other classics under his belt. But even with a filmography like his, I think George Bailey's possibly still Stewart's definitive role. The one he's most known for today, I think, anyway.
Oh, for sure.
And for good reason. He looks every inch the Hollywood powerhouse that he was at this point.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, as George, Stewart's what we've come to expect from him. He's likeable, he's charming, he's charismatic. He leads the whole thing as well as anyone's ever led a film, I would say.
Wow.
He's funny when he needs to be funny. All that Ministry of Silly Walk stuff he does cracks me up. And when the dramatic moments come, he's brilliant there as well. But I mentioned earlier that the tone shifts quite wildly throughout the film. I think it would have been a really big challenge for anyone playing George, but Stewart just sails through it. Yeah. When the dramatic moments come, and when they come big. Oh, yeah. Stewart's more than up to the challenge. Oh, yeah. We'll talk about it in more detail, but the final act, in Martino's bar, on the bridge, in the cemetery, he's magnificent. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I said that I think Capra controls the tone and the form brilliantly well, and part of that is because he's got an actor in the lead in Stewart who can effortlessly shift from comedy to drama to tragedy to fantasy and take us with him as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love him in the Philadelphia Story, but with the range he has to cover here, I think George Bailey isn't just his most iconic role. I think it's possibly his best performance as well. Oh, yeah. In fact, I think it's underrated. I think because of the stature of the film, we take for granted just how good he is.
I agree.
Yeah. I think it's among the greatest lead performances I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. Incredible.
He's incredible.
I love him almost as much as I love Aragorn in Lord of the Rings.
Surely
almost as much. He's just absolutely electric, fantastic. Like you said, the arcs that he has to go through, and he's totally believable in all of it. And he doesn't actually carry the film. I think it's just the way that Capra's directed it as a community. You think it's like an ensemble piece with everybody having that space. He doesn't need to carry it, but he just leads it so well. I think he's fantastic. Yeah. Another character that I love James Stewart playing is Elwood P. Dowd from Harvey, which came out in 1950.
Nice, yeah.
And it's very, very similar to George Bailey. Like, if you haven't seen Harvey and you love George Bailey, that's a really good kind of sequel to go to.
It's great.
It's very, very similar. And I just love Jimmy Stewart. Just an incredible human being.
Lovely.
So, like Capra, as the US became involved in the Second World War, Jimmy Stewart decided he wanted to enlist, and as an amateur pilot, he was commissioned into the Air Corps, served in World War II, and rose to the rank of colonel.
Yeah, so when he returned from the war, he was seriously considering quitting Hollywood entirely, apparently.
Wow.
And he spent a few months at home in Pennsylvania working in his family's hardware store.
Yeah.
Right.
Amazing.
Like Jay Fox in Teen Wolf. Howard's Hardware. The king of the nuts and bolts. Love that.
Going to buy a hammer and Jimmy Stewart serving you. Yeah. Mad.
Oh, no, I want a big one. Sledgehammer.
But while the war was taking place, RKO were writing The Greatest Gift, which, as we said, that's the original title of It's a Wonderful Life. And the first person that wanted to play George was Cary Grant. RKO ended up selling the script before a deal was struck, though.
Wow. I mean, I love Cary Grant, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Am I being harsh saying I'm not sure he's got the dramatic chops that Stewart brings to this?
We never saw that, did we, from Cary Grant? Yeah.
He is in The Bishop's Wife. He's very good in that.
Yeah, he is.
North by Northwest as well, but I just don't think he's got that depth.
No.
You know, he's like a James Bond kind of thing, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that's what they wanted as James Bond, wasn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
And then after Capra bought the rights to the film with Liberty, he briefly considered Henry Fonda as George,
right.
But he did only ever really want one man, James Stewart. And Capra said he spoke to Lou Wasserman, Stewart's agent, and Wasserman said Stewart would gladly play the part without even hearing the story.
Nice.
Sounds like Ricky Gervais's agent in Extras. He will work with anyone.
Well, no.
But apparently Stewart was planning to turn the part down. loving that hardware store. And according to reports, it was Lionel Barrymore who convinced him that movies still matter to people and that you should at least meet with Capra.
Yeah.
So, well done, Lionel, if true.
Wow.
So Stewart did meet Capra in an LA restaurant, and Capra told him the whole story of the film. But at the end, Capra himself said, actually, this doesn't sound too good, does it? And Stewart said in reply, Frank, if you want me to be in a picture about a guy that wants to kill himself and an angel comes down who can't swim and I save him, when do we start?
Great.
Nice.
Lou Wasserman was right. You will work with anyone.
George's daughter, Zuzu, was played by Carolyn Grimes, who was 6 years old at the time. Years later, she said Stewart was a joy on the set. She said he'd always take her for walks and talk to her about Christmas and angels.
Oh.
And she said it really helped her in the scene when Zuzu was ill and gives George the petals at the end. She felt a bond with Stewart. She didn't have to act much. Amazing.
It's a lovely moment.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His little ginger snap, he calls her.
Yeah, great.
It's probably lost now, but the reason George calls Zuzu that is that in the US in the 1940s, Zuzu was a famous brand of ginger snap biscuits.
All right.
All right,
right.
great.
Okay.
Nice. My kid's bourbon and custard cream.
Jammy Dodgers.
Wesley Dodger.
George's mother, Ma Bailey, is played by Beulah Bondi. She had a unique acting relationship with Stewart. She played his mother on screen 5 times, unbelievably.
Wow.
Before this, they'd worked together on The Vivacious Lady of Human Hearts and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. She played his mother in Stewart's 1970 sitcom The Jimmy Stewart Show, one of the great screen double acts.
Yeah.
Definitely. Is that why the neck on so much then?
I know, on the lips. Outrageous.
Yeah, that is weird. Not sure if that was normal in 1946. Surely it wasn't. But Stewart used to call her Mom right up until her death in 1981, which is nice.
Oh, lovely.
Lovely.
And she doesn't get loads to do in the film either, Beulah Bondi, but I think she's good.
Oh, yeah.
That scene after Harry's engagement party when she's convincing George to go and see Mary, she's great.
She is.
When he goes back and she's at the guest house, it just comes to the door. It's a lie. What?
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
horrible.
Dark.
Yeah.
Another member of the Bailey family worth mentioning is Uncle Billy, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
Lovable klutz.
Yeah.
Obviously part of a major plot point later. He's played by Thomas Mitchell.
Yeah.
How's he in the film, do we think?
I mean, that moment when George is in Pottersville and he goes to see his mother and she says, Uncle Billy's been in the insane asylum for the past 20 years. You do go, you know what, yeah.
That checks out.
That's probably where he should be, actually.
Yeah.
He gets nothing right at all. I mean, in the wrong hands, he could be so annoying and frustrating, but luckily Thomas Mitchell is just so likeable, you can't help but forgive him. And then in amongst all the kind of daftness that he does, that bit where George is yelling at him, but you don't see Stewart's face because he's got his back to camera and it's all played on Mitchell's face.
Yeah.
The terror in his eyes at that's incredible.
Yeah.
So, you know, when he needs to be dramatic, he can be.
Oh, he absolutely can. He was known as one of Hollywood's great character actors at the time, Thomas Mitchell. He won an Oscar for Stagecoach.
Yeah, that's right.
And in his acceptance speech, he said, I didn't think I was that good, to be honest.
What a guy.
Fair enough.
And apparently Capra thought about Thomas Mitchell playing Potter at one point.
Right.
And he considered Walter Brennan and W.C. Fields as Uncle Billy, which
Right.
makes sense, I think, W.C. Fields in the kind of likeable idiot role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Thomas Mitchell's pretty great as Billy.
Oh, he's wonderful.
String around his fingers to remember everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't help much when it matters,
Not at all.
but
Yeah.
Gets the wedding, of all things, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wish I was there. Why weren't you?
Yeah.
exactly.
That scene after Harry's engagement party. Billy's leaving the Bailey home. He's leaving his old building and lawn pal behind.
Yeah.
And off camera, it sounds like he stumbles into some trash cans. But what actually happened was a crew member dropped a tray of props just after he walked out of shot.
Right.
And when we hear Billy off screen shout, "I'm all right," that was improvised by Mitchell.
Brilliant.
And Capra used this take in the final cut and gave the crew member who dropped the props a $10 bonus for improving the sound.
I love that. Brilliant.
Amazing.
I'm all right.
I'm all right.
Right.
It's Stuart's laugh as well. You can tell that's
Yeah.
purely genuine.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, yeah, because you're not expecting it. When George laughs, that's Jimmy Stewart laughing.
Yeah, he's just like
Brilliant.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
it really works for his character as well that the animals are just attracted to Billy.
Dr. Doolittle.
He has that argument with George, and George says, one of us is going to prison, it isn't going to be me, and leaves. And he puts his head on the table, and that little squirrel just sits on his shoulder, just like, it's all right, mate, it's all right. But as well as the squirrel, Uncle Billy had a pet crow. The bird was played by Jimmy the Raven, one of Hollywood's most famous animal actors. Capra had worked with Jimmy on You Can't Take It With You in 1938 and loved him so much that Jimmy was in every Capra film for the rest of his career.
Wow.
He earned $500 a week. And Stewart said whenever Frank called Jimmy, we both answered.
$500 a week.
Apparently $200 of that went to the owner, and the rest just went to Jimmy.
Just on like seed and stuff.
Booze and fast cars and women, yeah. And the Wizard of Oz, you know, the bit where Crow lands on the scarecrow and starts like pecking away at him.
Oh, yeah.
That's Jimmy.
There's Jimmy, up to his old tricks.
Some filmography he's got.
Amazing, yeah.
But yeah, have you noticed too, Uncle Billy has got a pet squirrel. He's also got a gerbil, a dog, and a parrot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Strange combo, that.
Yeah.
Oh, his house fucking stinks.
I bet he does, yeah. Should get a shot like Ace Ventura when Billy summons all the animals to him. Be great.
Billy, what's all that food for? Fibre.
Well, back to James Stewart, and for his performance as George Bailey, he was nominated for an Oscar. Lost out to, do you know? You'll do well to get this.
Whoever was in Best Years of Our Lives, I can't remember. I don't know that one.
It was Frederick March for the Best Days of Our Lives.
Okay.
I mean, nowadays, I'm not sure that's much of a contest, is it?
No.
Not at all.
Come on.
No.
But Hollywood legend Jimmy Stewart and It's a Wonderful Life, one of his biggest movies and greatest performances for us.
Absolutely.
One of the best ever.
Yeah.
Behind every great man is a great woman, so they say, and that phrase might just have been coined after somebody watched It's a Wonderful Life.
Very true.
Donna Reed plays Mary Hatch Bailey. George's wife, we follow her from being a 9-year-old girl in Bedford Falls to a 35-year-old mother of 4. She's with George every step of the way through ruined honeymoons, broken dreams, and at the end of the film, rallies the townsfolk together when George needs her and them the most. And she's got a hell of an arm on her, Matt.
She certainly does.
What are our thoughts on Donna Reed as Mary?
I mean, look, I've got as much sympathy for George as the next man. He's been dealt a very bad hand in most respects, but George, have you seen who you're married to? For God's sake.
Have
Like,
you seen your wife?
like, life ain't that bad, mate. Just come on, have a word with yourself. Mary is an absolute saint in this. Constantly puts up with all of George's crap and moping and self-pity and just always has the answer. It's so brilliant that when there's the run on the bank and George thinks he's going to lose everything to Potter, it's her that comes up with the solution. Take our honeymoon money. This'll get us through it.
Yeah.
When George is yelling at the kids, the way she stands up to him like a lioness and just tells him to get out and leave them alone. Incredible. But as soon as he's gone, she just snaps into action. She knows something's badly wrong and it's straight in action to get him help. She's on the phone. Something's wrong with your dad. Phone Billy. Let's get this sorted. Like I say, who wouldn't want to be married to Mary? Donna Reed is just brilliant in this.
Yeah.
She really is. She is so patient all the way through the film. Even before Meet Donna Reed, when we see 9-year-old Mary, she's there in Gower's drugstore when George arrives, and then when he leaves to deliver the prescription, she's sitting on a stool.
Yeah.
When George gets back, Gower says the pill should have been delivered more than an hour ago.
Yeah.
And Mary's still sitting there on that stool without a word of complaint.
Great.
She meant it when she said she'll love him till the day she dies.
Yeah.
But yeah, Donna Reed is a delight, start to finish.
Yeah.
And although she said that playing Mary was the hardest role of her career, she said that Capra was extremely demanding, but it doesn't show if she was having a hard time.
No.
I mean, she also has a range of styles to portray. I love it when she smashes the record after George storms out of the house.
Yeah.
Love it.
Great.
Yeah.
And when the drama comes at the end, she can handle that as well. I think she plays Spinster Mary really well too. But, I mean, a beautiful woman, even by Hollywood standards,
Yeah.
and brings a real elegance to everything. She reminds me of Grace Kelly a bit.
Yeah.
Which is high praise, obviously.
Very much.
The character's maybe more perfect than any real person, but I'm not bothered. In fact, I'm glad she is.
Yeah.
I think she's excellent.
Yeah.
And when I think of It's a Wonderful Life, I don't just think of Jimmy Stewart, to be honest. I think of Donna Reed as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, hat trick. I mean, is she the most wonderful woman in movie history? Probably.
Definitely
Very
up there.
possibly.
Yeah.
It's not far off.
In the first half of the film, she just lights up every frame. She's an absolute joy. And because George goes on this emotional roller coaster, Mary's in the cart with him. So she's got to traverse all of these different tones as well. And that wide-eyed joy and love for George, the innocence of youth, gets slowly eroded as she becomes more world-weary and worn down by their misfortune, generally at the hands of Potter. But unlike George, she does not crumble under the weight of that.
No.
She's strong and resolute, keeps things together for the family, for the house, for her marriage. And I really believe this performance from Donna Reed. Particularly at this time as well, it could have been over the top, it could have been too saccharine or too sickly sweet. And the film may not work if Jimmy Stewart isn't in it, but Donna Reed provides that emotional core of the film and keeps things grounded. Mm-hmm. She's a really reassuring presence, which is all the more remarkable that she doesn't have a huge amount of screen time.
No, yeah.
It's focused mainly on Jimmy Stewart. Mm-hmm. And she's just a secondary character generally in most of the scenes that she's in, and she makes such a huge impression.
Yeah.
She definitely does.
But at the time she made It's a Wonderful Life, Donna Reed was already established as a Hollywood actress and was signed to MGM. She wasn't a huge star though, so some other names were considered to play Mary.
Yeah, she'd been in 20 films before this. Donna Mullinger was her real name.
Right.
And MGM changed it because of anti-German sentiment during World War II.
Right.
Okay.
So Capra's first choice to play Mary was Jean Arthur, and he'd worked with her on You Can't Take It With You and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, but she turned it down to appear in a Broadway play.
Okay.
Yeah, Born Yesterday was the play. She apparently dropped out of that as well due to exhaustion.
Oh, wow.
Capra running her into the ground, probably.
Martha Scott, Anne Dvorak and Olivia de Havilland were all considered to play Mary as well, and Ginger Rogers turned the part down because she'd read the script and said Mary was too bland. But in her autobiography years later, Rogers wrote about it saying, "Foolish, you say?" So she might have regretted it.
Probably for the best, though. Imagine Ginger Rogers dancing next to Crazy Legs George. What's this shit?
Blowing him off the screen.
Yeah, definitely.
Capra then saw the war film They Were Expendable, and he liked its female lead as Mary, Donna Reed, so Liberty Films approached MGM about loaning her out.
John Ford film, They Were Expendable.
Yeah, yeah.
And Donna Reed played a Navy nurse, which probably helped, because Mary's like everyone in Bedford Falls as nurse, isn't she?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Donna Reed grew up on a farm in Iowa, and because of that, Lionel Barrymore, who we'll get to in a second, who played Potter in the film, challenged her to a cow milking contest. Now, I'm not too sure how this works, how ferocious this needs to be, but it kind of freaks us out a little bit. But she'd won easily and said it was the easiest $50 that she ever made.
That imagery.
That imagery, yeah. Is it two hands or...
With both of them side by side.
Yeah. What's the contest? Is it speed? Is it volume? I don't know.
What were the rules? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I need some rules, Lionel. Don't just be like, get a lot of fine clothes, milk that cow. You know, how's this going to work?
I think he does have a very down-to-earth quality, Donna Reed, as well, which maybe comes from that kind of background.
Yeah, yeah.
I think one of those actresses that everyone likes, surely.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she's incredible.
She's almost like Dorothy, Wizard of Oz in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 2 years after It's a Wonderful Life, Donna Reed was cast as the female lead in The Stratton Story. Van Johnson was the main character, but when he was replaced by Jimmy Stewart, Reed was replaced as well by June Allison. According to some reports, it was Stewart that requested they replace Reed because It's a Wonderful Life had flopped at the box office. She had huge success in her later years, though. In TV, she was the star of her own sitcom, The Donna Reed Show.
Yes, nice.
Yeah, it was massive. Won loads of Emmys, I think, that show.
Yeah, huge.
Really good.
And The Stratton Show, that was a biopic about Monty Patton, a baseball player.
Right.
He was a pitcher, so they should have cast Donna Reed as the main character.
Exactly, yeah.
That would be great, yeah.
Yeah, with her arm, yep.
Well, for playing Mary in It's a Wonderful Life, Donna Reed didn't receive any award recognition. In 1953, she did win an Oscar for From Here to Eternity.
Okay.
And for us here, as Mary Hatch-Bailey, we think she's pretty fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Red hot.
Yeah, integral to the film's success, I think.
Now for the villain of the piece. Lionel Barrymore plays Henry F. Potter, the richest, meanest man in Bedford Falls. Boo. A slumlord banker and a man who sees the Bailey building and loan as a personal affront. He spends the entire film trying to crush George and everything the Bailey family stands for. The Scrooge of Bedford Falls, Westy. How is Lionel Barrymore as Potter?
I mean, he's just incredible. Absolutely love him. You need an absolute bastard to counterbalance this.
Yeah.
You need this person to be horrible. And he is the physical human representation of a virus, of a cancer. He just wants to eat this whole town and just bleed it dry.
Yeah,
he's horrible.
Yeah.
His body's broken, his mind's broken, his spirit's broken, he's got no morals, and he just plays it so well that he just has absolutely no happiness anywhere. There's no joy anywhere. He'll absolutely take anybody to the cleaners.
Yeah.
This would have played probably a little bit too hard had they kept the original scene in where he sets the dogs on the kids. You can see him doing it. You just take that $8,000 off Billy and watch him squirm, and then to watch them walking down the street. It's just bilious behaviour, and he's horrible. What is he getting from this?
Yeah.
What is he getting from his life? Barrymore's performance here, he's just horrible on screen. But again, I think his performance makes him so watchable. He's just got that horrible villainous quality, like a really good Bond bad guy.
Yeah.
I just feel sorry for the guy. He hasn't accomplished what he wants to accomplish. He's going to die very lonely, devoid of joy, and you know that. When he's getting pushed to the door when he finds the money, come on! He can't go any faster in a tiny room.
That massive wheelchair.
Yeah. He's like, come on! He's just a flawed human being. Disgusting, but brilliant.
I agree. I think Potter is a great villain.
Yeah.
And like an old school one, he's all in black, he cackles, he's just missing like a twirling moustache, like Dick Dastardly. But what's great is how cold he is. He's really calculating, sitting in that wheelchair, just scheming. That's him for the whole film, basically. I mean, there's no nuance, there's no development, but there doesn't need to be. George handles all that kind of by himself. Potter works great as just bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Lionel Barrymore is a great piece of casting. He plays him with such a stillness. There's no huge theatrics.
No.
He shows all of his contempt for everything with mostly his eyes and facial expressions. And he bloody hates the building and loan. Absolutely hates it.
Hates it.
Bane of his life, isn't it? Yeah. He gets joy from misery. It's amazing.
He does. And he's awful all the way through. But at the end, when Potter discovers Uncle Billy's given him the $8,000 and decides to keep it, that is diabolical behavior.
That's terrible.
Horrific.
I don't care who you are. That's awful.
And he personally calls up the police to get George carted off to jail.
Yeah.
Inexcusable. I mean, Lionel Barrymore was a lovely man in real life by all accounts.
Yeah.
So Capra spoke to his makeup team and told them to create a look for Potter influenced by American Gothic, the famous painting from the 1930s by Grant Wood.
Oh, yeah.
The farmer with the pitchfork, like a proper joyless face. And that's perfect for Potter.
It is.
And again, for me, I think he's underrated. Potter never seems to get mentioned in great villains lists.
No, you're right.
But I think he definitely should. I
should,
think he's a great bad guy and perfectly played by Lionel Barrymore.
Just this right piece of shit, isn't he? I mean, he's just irredeemable. And the worst thing about him is he doesn't need to do any of these actions.
He doesn't?
He's already the richest man in town. How much more does he need?
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't need to destroy the building alone, but he wants to. It's like, you know that bit in There Will Be Blood when Daniel Plainview is looking at the map of the country, he goes, what's this? Why don't I own this? That is straight from Potter's mouth. It's just nothing but pure naked greed for the sake of it, destroying things for the sake of it, with zero consideration for who it affects. I mean, when George visits him, begging him for a loan, I mean, he is practically rejoicing at George's predicament and pretty much outright suggests, you should just kill yourself because I'm going to get the cops on you.
Yeah.
And he rejoices in it. I mean, I agree with you, John, just one of the great cinematic villains of all time.
Yeah.
And Barrymore's excellent.
He really is.
Capra had his eye on a number of actors for the role of Potter. Edward Arnold, Charles Bickford, Edgar Buchanan and Raymond Massey were all considered. Vincent Price was obviously a big name that he thought about before he offered the part to Lionel Barrymore. He'd started on stage in the 1890s, going all the way back, and in Hollywood in the 1910s on silent movies. He had previously worked with Capra and Stewart on You Can't Take It With You.
Yeah, he'd won an Oscar in 1931 as well for a film called Free Soul. But he was also well known at the time for a radio version of A Christmas Carol that CBS had broadcast every year since 1934.
All right.
In that version, Barrymore played Ebenezer Scrooge.
Yeah.
Of course he did.
Of course he did.
Obviously.
Of course he did.
He's not Tiny Tim, is he?
Backflips.
Yeah. Just out the wheelchair.
That plus Capra knew him, no-brainer, as Potter surely.
Yeah.
I mean, Potter is screwed without the Ark, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Needs a few ghosts to show up. Hit him with a toaster.
Toaster.
Potter was not originally written as wheelchair bound. Lionel Barrymore had suffered from arthritis since the 1920s, and in the 1930s he fractured his hip on 2 different film sets.
Ouch.
Oof.
Wow. Leaving him obviously needing a wheelchair. So the role of Potter was adapted to be in the wheelchair.
Yeah, not sure about you, but I barely noticed Potter's in a wheelchair, to be honest. His overall presence just seems to take over every scene he's in.
I always get a surprise.
Yeah.
I think it really works that he's physically weak and that this kind of adds to his bitterness.
Yeah, of course.
It definitely does. And a shout out to Frank Hagney, who plays Potter's wordless assistant, pushing him around in that wheelchair.
He's
Yeah.
great.
Worst job ever.
Yeah.
Just carting Potter around, watching him be horrible to everyone.
The most evil man in the world.
The more you think about it, though, it is just Mr. Burns and Smithers.
It is.
It really is.
It really is.
Yeah, it absolutely is, yeah.
No awards for Lionel Barrymore for It's a Wonderful Life, but for us as Potter, we think he's a pretty great Christmas villain.
Oh, amazing.
Oh, incredible.
One of the best.
A big cast in It's a Wonderful Life. We've mentioned Thomas Mitchell as Uncle Billy, and we'll talk about Henry Travers as Clarence a little later on. But in those two leads and villain, Jimmy Stewart as George, Donna Reed as Mary, and Lionel Barrymore as Potter, 3 Oscar winners, some star quality, and an excellent lead cast.
Brilliant.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Outstanding cast.
All the Right Movies will be back shortly. Thank you for supporting us by listening to this episode's sponsors. Thanks for listening to our sponsors. Now, back to the show.
The middle.
We're moving into the middle of It's a Wonderful Life now, and things are really developing. We're going to be talking about George and Mary's wedding day, which is eventful, to say the least.
Yeah.
It is.
But first, it's some key life moments for George.
Oh, yeah.
So after George's father, Peter, sadly passes away, the building and loan's up for grabs, leading to George stepping in. He then does the same at the Hut residence, where he and Mary finally become an item in the film's most sizzling scene. So how's it all going, Luke?
Yeah. Well, I'm starting off here with the little sentimental hogwash. George has foregone his trip to Europe to settle his dad's affairs in the unfortunate circumstances. And he's about to go off to the retirement home. Sorry, school. But that all changes when the dastardly Mr. Potter's antics make him angry.
Yeah.
Potter makes a play for the building and loan and talks about Peter Bailey in the most disparaging terms. He says, a man of high ideals, so-called.
Yeah.
Dick.
Horrible. His picture in the background as well, like Airplane.
Yeah. And he just runs him down in front of his nearest and dearest. Outrageous behaviour. When George gives this beautifully impassioned speech about the backbone of the community and how the building and loan is central to making the town thrive, Potter just yawning through the speech.
Yeah, awful.
I'm not interested in your book. I'm talking about the building and loan. This is just really wonderful. The light and dark of the story, trading blows. Barrymore hamming it right up as Potter, and George is unable to resist the pull of family commitments right at the end.
Yeah, this is the moment where George's fate's sealed. Mm-hmm. He's here for life.
Yeah.
And it's pretty hard hitting because we see him making the decision to stay in real time. I mean, the board have to take some serious responsibility here. Potter's there. He's desperate to absorb the building and loan into his bank. He's like a vulture. And they're all like, yeah, let's vote this guy in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
ridiculous.
mad. It rings far too true for my liking.
Yeah.
But the speech George gives to the board is brilliant. It's all emotion. Just slams Potter through the floor. It's great. And Stewart delivers it as great as everything else. But what I like is that Capra doesn't frame George as entirely noble. There's grief there and there's duty. But there's also clear resentment from George at having to take over the building and loan, which leads into the end brilliantly and makes him cracking at the end more believable.
Yeah.
And the final shot in this scene when George is on his way out of the office and the guy says, they'll vote Potter in if you leave, and George stops dead on this huge close-up of Stewart and then fade out. Incredible, that.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
So George is committed to the building loan and he's feeling very sorry for himself, which is when he runs into Mary again. And it's just more wonderful interplay between Stewart and Reed here, and one of the best examples of how Capra can just shift the tone in one scene effortlessly. I mean, like I said, George really feeling sorry for himself here. And it's hilarious how Mary's attempts at cheering him up just fall flat on the face when she starts singing that song and leaves it hanging for him to join in. And he just goes, huh? Oh, yeah, and just like waves his hat at her, like completely uninterested. And then when her mother gets involved, George Bailey, what does he want? The look on his face is so funny. Like,
Yeah.
why is she having a pop? Like, mind your own business. Only came in here to get warm. And then Mary yells back up, he's making violent love to me, mother. And she goes off shrieking. So it starts off very funny. But like I said, there's a tonal shift because he storms out. Mary smashes the record to pieces because she's upset. And you feel his anger. You feel his disappointment. But you feel her hurt at this as well. And then Capra shifts the tone once again because he has to come back because Sam Wainwright's on the phone. And the attraction between them, I mean, you said it, John, it is sizzling at this point between George and Mary. That incredible close-up when they're sharing that phone between them. And then when they start kissing and then they break into sobs, you just think, hold on, I was laughing at this 30 seconds ago.
Yeah.
How has it ended up here and still makes sense?
Absolutely no acknowledgement from Mary's mother about smashing that record either. Just didn't happen.
He's just horrible, George, for the most part. You know, that bit when he's like, I say it smells like pine needles in here again.
Yeah.
But Mary's reaction, thank you. Yes, absolutely. No, but thank you. Yep, no, perfect. But what I got from this scene, rewatching it just recently, is how important that phone call is to Sam Wainwright. Has anyone else noticed that George gives him the idea to get the factory there?
Yes.
And half the town went out of work. And he's basically, in Sam Wainwright's like, yeah, look, I knew you'd come through.
Yeah.
So that's where the factory is. So he's given so many more people, so many more opportunities, and so many more jobs, just as he said that, because of his selflessness.
Yeah.
Incredible little moment, just, blink and you'll miss it.
Absolutely. The whole sequence is just red hot.
Oh.
But George, he's a bit prickly when he turns up.
Kicking the gate open.
Yeah, kicks the gate open, criticises her drawing she's made of him. Unbelievable. And it's funny when Mary asks George if he likes Harry's wife, and he's furious, like, of course I like her. She's a peach.
Where'd you get that dress? Do you like it? It's all right.
And it leads into that almighty kiss, obviously. One of the best romantic scenes ever, to me. I mean, the whole sequence is, maybe 10 minutes? And it takes us through more than most rom-coms manage in 90 minutes or 2 hours, I think.
Yeah.
Outside the final act, I think this is the best scene in the film.
Oh, wow.
And one of the great Hollywood screen kisses. Certainly the angriest from George.
Impassioned, isn't it? Full of emotion.
It is full of emotion because sometimes I think, is this him falling in love or is this him just giving up?
Yeah.
This is who I'm going to be with, but I'm going to have to take a fall to be with her. And I know that. And he's kind of like falling in love but doesn't want to at the same time. It's loaded with all of that energy.
Yeah, it absolutely is, because I think George loves Mary, but she represents him giving up all of his dreams.
Yeah.
Stuart later called Donna Reed the embodiment of goodness. And he said he found being around her disconcerting.
It's one word forward.
With his break for the war, this was his first love scene in years, so he put off filming this kiss for weeks. He asked Reed if she wanted to rehearse it beforehand. Of course he did, the old devil.
Yeah.
But Reed said, I think we should just do it. No funny business.
Yeah.
Capra agreed to no rehearsals, and Stewart said that when they did it, their hormones were out of control. Quote, unquote.
His wife was delighted to hear that.
Yeah, I bet. They did it in one take, and Stewart called it one of the best scenes he's ever filmed. Of course he did. Loved it.
Yeah. Bet you can't remember it.
When they're both on the receiver talking to Sam Wainwright, and then the noses are almost touching. I mean, the tension's like through the roof.
Electricity, isn't it?
Yeah. George grabs her and starts kicking off, and then he's all over her, like the angriest kiss ever.
Yeah.
But apparently Stewart and Reed got so wrapped up that they skipped a page in the script.
Right.
And the script supervisor said to Capra, hang on, they've left out loads of dialogue here. And Capra was like, with that, who needs dialogue?
Oh,
Yeah, amazing.
wonderful.
Brilliant.
So he knew what he had, I think.
The kiss happens when George and Mary are on the phone to George's friend Sam Wainwright, and Sam is offering George a job. Capra filmed all of it in real time. This is amazing. So there was one unit that Capra was part of filming Stewart and Reed on one set. Then on a different set, the second unit was filming Frank Albertson, who played Sam, at the same time.
Oh, yes.
So Reed and Stewart and Albertson were really on the phone to each other, talking to each other during the scene.
Oh, that's great.
That's amazing. I would have done like a Wes Anderson and just went from one set to the other one. Just on a track. Just like went across. Amazing that. But that's brilliant. Love that.
Yeah, that's really cool when you watch it knowing that as well. And Sam gets dumped through the floor, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah.
He even says to George, you're trying to steal my girl? Well, yes. And succeeding, actually.
Yeah, while you're on the phone.
He haul your way out of that.
Yeah.
So there it is. George is the man of the building and loan and finally gets his woman in Mary. Some big moments for Georgie boy.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, huge.
From there, the following segment's all about the money as George gets to grips with the building and loan and has to deal with some problems. George and Mary's wedding day is scuppered when George has to get involved in a run on the bank, and looking to take advantage of the situation, Potter tries to make George an offer he can't refuse. So how's it going for you, Westy?
I mean, I haven't seen one before, but this looks like all the hallmarks of a run, to be perfectly honest with you. It's the quickest wedding ever. Just that crossfit. Here they come. That's it. Bang. Straight in. We know where we are. That's absolutely fine. You know, having a great time. He's finally, George is there. He's got Mary, but he's going to escape with her. He's got a way out. He loves her, but he's actually going to live his dream with her now. It's so tragic if you think about it just from that point. Ernie's great in this scene. If you see a stranger around here, it's me. But yeah, there's a run on the bank, and it's just, you know, absolute pandemonium. George cannot get a break. He cannot get out of there. Every single time he just gets close enough and just gets pulled back in. It just feels like there's like this invisible orb around all of Bedford Falls, and he just can't escape. It's like the Truman Show. Every time he gets close to the edge, to the border, he has to get pulled back. And he's in the building alone. George has let everybody in, and here we go. How are we going to save the day? What are we going to do? And George just starts explaining, you know, the theory behind that place. Like, your money's not here. It's in the houses here. It's in the community. It's everybody working together, and nobody understands that. And it's selfishness that completely takes over this scene. And this is where Mary just really stands up. Yeah. She's been his wife for what, like 3 hours? And she's perfectly George Bailey's wife here. Yeah. Because she's selfless. She's not thinking about herself at all. She's completely thinking about George. At the same time, she's thinking about the community. It's not just to impress George. She literally gets nothing from this situation and pulls out $2,000. How much do you need? Me, I wouldn't be pulling that $2,000 out. No fucking guys. Oh yeah, on my way to the honeymoon, I'd be like. But, I mean, how much of a dick is Tom, please?
Oh, he's awful.
$272. I want 200, and that's a loan. Nah, I would have closed his account. I'm far too cynical to be commenting about the happiness of this film. So I wouldn't have done that. Now I'm like, Potter, oh no, I'm not interested in your book. And just my favourite bit in this scene is absolutely wonderful, and it comes from an actress called Ellen Corby, who in the script she was meant to go up and ask for $17. Yeah. And Capra pulled it to one side just before they were filming and said, ask him for $17.50. Just put that 50 in there and just see what happens. And then asked him, and then this is James Stewart's real reaction. Just everything goes quiet. Can I have $17.50? And he just pauses for a second. And that kiss on the cheek is just so genuine and wonderful. And great. You just lift from that moment. And George forgets about it because, again, he's thinking about everybody but himself, even on his wedding day.
He is. And Ellen Corby, she went on to play the grandma in The Waltons.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
She won 3 Emmys for that.
Yeah, I mean, this moment starts off with absolute wedded bliss. The happy couple surrounded by the whole town. Even Violet's got a smile on her face.
Yeah.
I love that moment when they get in the cab. Ernie asks where they're going on this here honeymoon, and they've got it all mapped out. The richest caviar, the oldest champagne, New York, Bermuda. They've got a massive wad of cash. Ernie's so wrapped up in their own plans, he lets out a lion's roar. Outrageous. But you just know that all of the plans are going to fall flat on their face yet again. George thwarted at every turn. Uncle Billy is under so much stress at the building and loan that he's boozing on the job while he reveals the terrible news.
Yeah.
Pathetic. Everyone's going to pull out and get 50 cents on the dollar from Potter. Disaster. But really, the moment I love here is that one long take at the door where George appeals to the good nature of the community. Yeah, he's got pages and pages of dialogue, and he delivers them faultlessly with no cuts, loads of emotion. The intonation, delivery is incredible. But then he's joined by all the other actors in the scene hitting their marks after his dialogue.
Yeah.
Amazing timing. I think it's an acting masterclass, that one.
Yeah, really is. And the focus isn't on George either. If you watch where the camera's actually focused on the crowd, not on him.
Sideways on, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, must be the worst wedding day ever, surely. I'm not sure how George is getting married and jetting off on his honeymoon and has no idea what's going on at the bank. That's a bit crazy.
Well, he's left Billy in charge, doesn't need to worry.
Well, he's got his best man on the job, hasn't he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But fine, because once we're in there, the whole scene is great. George having to turn the customers demanding their money back on side, and Stewart at his charismatic best, holding court, he's great. One of the key moments around the importance of community. I think the writing's top notch. It's like an indictment on capitalism, and it kind of demonstrates how it works. George spells out how he's been beyond fair. He says, Ed, remember last year when you couldn't make your payments? Do you think Potter would have let you keep your house?
Yeah.
I mean, he throws poor Ed right in front of the bus, in front of everybody. But I think they're saying that's how it works. A sniff of trouble, it becomes every man, woman for themselves, and that's when people like Potter steam in to take advantage.
Yeah.
But I think this is one of the reasons the film's so highly regarded. It's a Christmas classic, but has some really good writing and themes with actual substance in there.
Yeah.
And of course, it ends in an upbeat way with George and Mary pulling it back, as they always do. George leaping back and forth over the desk. I love it.
Yeah,
Excellent. And possibly George's finest hour in the film, saving the day.
Yeah.
definitely Mary's.
Definitely Mary's.
So it's been a very, very long day for George, and he finally goes home, and you just think, is there anything Mary can't do? I mean, they've had to give away the honeymoon money. There goes that dream. And she's still sorting everything out for him. Like, she doesn't feel sorry for herself for 1 minute, considering everything she's had to give up. Here. Doesn't rant and rave. She's just straight in with, well, George is working late, better make sure he's got some kind of home to come back to. And the sheer ingenuity of cooking those chickens over the fire by hooking them up to the record player.
That's great.
That's amazing. Just the perfect woman at this point. And then you've got the solid friendship from Bert and Ernie, who are backing George up here, putting the posters up. I love the little tip of the hat.
Yeah, with the water comes
with
out.
the water coming out, as if he's welcoming them in. But I'll tell you what, this is technically still George and Mary's honeymoon. I don't think Bert and Ernie need to stick around in the piss and rain singing to them outside.
Not really.
They've got things to be getting on with, lads. Like, you know, if that was me, I wouldn't want you serenading me outside on my honeymoon night. Like, go home, please.
It's amazing how she pulled that off. I mean, if I'd tried it, that chicken would be raw by the time she got home. Freezing, no posters up. Yeah. Just playing Megadeth in a raw chicken.
Yeah, Mary is a dream come true, isn't she?
Oh, what?
Oh, yeah, unbelievable.
The building in loan where she whips out the wad of cash, and then this. Yeah, it's a great moment.
Yeah.
Skipping ahead a little bit, the moment where George gets a very tempting job offer from Potter. He's teetering on the edge.
Oh, yeah.
Because Potter's been trying to get his hooks in all the time, and George has resisted. We all know that Potter's an absolute bastard. But by this point, George hasn't been able to catch a break, and he's been trapped by his circumstances. Worn down, which is why he sees those dollar signs, all 20,000 of them.
Yeah.
The storytelling here is pretty wonderful because a lot of this scene is powered by the previous scene where Sam's talking about the missed opportunity of not getting in on the business at the ground level. They aren't able to join them in Florida. All the things that he would just love to do.
Yeah.
But George comes to his senses in that wonderful moment when he shakes Potter's hand. He sees himself shaking hands with the devil, and he does not like what he sees.
Oh, his facial expression is amazing.
Great.
I don't need 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the writing is really clever, because to now, George has already made sacrifices for the community and for Harry, and it's cost him. I mean, narratively, we don't need this moment, but it's so key because it's George's chance to get out of it, to get back to where he wanted to be, and he still says no.
Yeah.
I mean, any scene with Potter's dynamite, so it's already tense when George is summoned to his office. And the setup, tiny chair for George.
I know.
He's practically sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
That's for everybody, though, isn't it? So Potter can feel more powerful.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
And $20,000 a year he offers him. That was an astronomical salary
Massive.
in 1946.
It's massive now.
And George is tempted. He takes a cigar. He accepts the job at first, and then as soon as he touches Potter's cold, dead hands, it kind of snaps him back to reality.
Yeah.
Because Potter's not really making a job offer.
Yeah.
He's trying to kill the building and loan once and for all, and he's going for the source.
Yeah.
And Stewart's fantastic again, especially when he snaps and turns on Potter. And then again, it's somehow the tone shifts at the end. It ends funny with George shouting, "And it goes for you too," and everyone.
Yeah.
I just love the visual storytelling here. I mean, we've said that thing about the small chair, but the more that George considers Potter's offer, the lower he sinks into that seat.
Yeah,
Because he's
yeah,
being
nice.
tempted into this moral abyss, and he's sinking to Potter's level.
Yeah.
And that visual of George on one side of the screen, Potter and his assistant on the other. So even though they're trying to tempt him with this offer, it's actually about them ganging up on him. That's so effective. And I think that gets repeated later on when George begs Potter for money, but it's all much tighter in the frame, and you've got the statue, which is him and George in as well. So great scene, because this is all about Potter trying to trap George, both narratively and then visually from Capra.
Yeah.
So that's Act 2 of It's a Wonderful Life. The Baileys get married, the bank gets a run on it, and George rejects Potter. Seems to be setting us up quite nicely for a huge finale. I wonder if we'll get one.
I wonder.
Hope so.
The Crew.
To make an all-time Christmas classic, you don't just need big names in front of the camera, you need big talent behind it as well. And we're going to talk about some of those people now by delving into the crew on It's a Wonderful Life. We're talking Dmitry Tiomkin as the composer on the film and Joseph Walker and Joseph Biroc as the directors of photography. But let's begin with the screenplay and writing, should we?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed.
So the credited screenwriters on It's a Wonderful Life are Francis Goodrich, Albert Hackett and Frank Capra. Goodrich and Hackett were a wife and husband writing team who'd already been Oscar nominated for The Thin Man and After the Thin Man from 1934 and 36. Frank Capra, though he had numerous story and dialogue credits before this was just his second full screenplay writing credit after That Certain Thing in 1928.
Wow.
An accomplished co-writing team on It's a Wonderful Life then, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Does it show?
Really does, because it's so patiently written. It's like a trail of breadcrumbs, and everything will pay off once you get to the end. I mean, when you're in Pottersville and you see what has happened to Mr. Gower, you've kind of forgotten at that point what George did for him back then. And you just get that realisation of, oh, God, of course, he'd have gone to jail if George hadn't stepped in to save him.
Yeah.
The fact that George loses his hearing so early on, it seems quite innocuous, but actually it keeps him out of the war, and it becomes his first clue that actually Clarence has changed everything around him.
Yeah.
When they're giving away the honeymoon money to save the building loan, we've talked about how awful Tom is because he wants all of his money back. But that gets flipped on its head when he's one of the first people to turn up at George's house to help him out with some money.
Yeah.
So it is filled with all these little setups along the way, and they seem fairly low key because most of them are just George being a decent guy, but they've got a monumental impact in the story further down the line, and that really stands out in the writing to me.
Mm-hmm.
It does me as well.
Yeah, I think it's got such a vein of melancholy running through it. George can never catch a break. He loses his hearing, he gets roughed up by Mr. Gower, abandons his dreams. Every single time he's about to escape Bedford Falls, off to college, off to see the world, on his honeymoon, something pulls him back. And the screenplay just keeps twisting that knife through every scene, through every life moment.
Yeah.
And I think what's smart is that it's never really one big tragedy. It's death by 1,000 cuts. Each sacrifice feels small and noble in the moment. Of course he's going to let Harry go to college. Of course he's going to give his honeymoon money to the community. But they all accumulate. And the screenplay tracks that accumulation so carefully that by the time we reach Christmas Eve, we completely understand how this fundamentally decent man has ended up on a bridge close to the very end.
Yeah.
I think it's structurally very brave. The script spends so long in the darkness building this case for despair that the redemption has to work overtime, but because the groundwork's so solid, it earns every bit of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a lot to cram in 130 minutes.
Loads.
Telling the story of the life of George Bailey, basically. So the structure focuses on the big key moments of his life. We jump from saving Harry to meeting Mary to getting married. I mean, when that sort of thing's done in films, it sometimes doesn't work because it means it's often a lot of coincidences that have to take place, lots of things happening at the same time, like the wedding day / run on the bank we just talked about. But here, it works brilliantly. And I think the reason it works so well is because of what I think is possibly the main theme of the film, which is helping others. There's other themes like capitalism, faith, community, but I think the film explores sacrifice really well. All the way through, George sacrifices himself to help others, but every time he does, he's punished for it. He saves Harry and loses the hearing in his left ear. He saves Mr. Gower and takes a beating for it. He stops Potter taking over the building and loan and has to give up college. He carries on managing the building and loan so Harry can accept the job offer, and he gives up on travelling the world. The message for the first two acts seems to be, don't help anyone else, because if you do, you'll bloody pay for it.
Yeah.
But then Clarence comes along. He shows George what Bedford Falls would be like without him, and George sees how much value his life has. And then we get the end where the townsfolk band around to help George when he needs them, and they help him because of all the times he's helped them. I mean, it's a huge, ambitious ending, but they've earned it by putting the groundwork in with all those other moments I'm talking about from George's life. I buy 100% that Bedford Falls turns up for George at the end. We'll talk about it more later. But at that point, the message changes. It becomes you should help others, because even if it feels like you're losing out, you're not. It gives your life value. Even if you can't see the benefit, your life's enriched by helping others. And that theme, I think, clearly drives every decision the writers make start to finish. It's not just your standard Christmas movie message of a simple help others. It really explores it like good writers do. And it presents both sides of it as well. And I think that message is a big reason people keep coming back to the movie every year, because it's a wonderful message, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wonderful life, wonderful message.
Yeah, might as well have just called it that.
Yeah, I mean, I think about this film often, and it's always at Christmas time. And I think about how impossible this is to be done again, to remake. It's an incredible story, but the writing for me just seems to be so of the time, so specific to this one person, this one story. I mean, if you look at A Christmas Carol, which is probably the closest to this, which is written well before it, how many times have they remade that? Oh, this guy's Scrooge this time.
Yeah.
We'll know the story. We'd love to see the story. But this, you can't just go, well, oh, it's a Wonderful Life. This guy's George Bailey now.
Yeah.
I think it's the dialogue, I think it's the characters, I think it's the way that it is of the time. But the themes in this are so specific that they can't be remade, they can't be taken anywhere else. It's not a generic story. It just feels like the writing is very, very precise about this one story. And a lot of that is the dialogue, which absolutely sings for me. Yes, it's of the time, but there's a lot of it that just really makes sense. Like, this completely makes sense. It's just absolutely timeless, and the themes that you've all spoke about still relevant now, but nobody's ever done it this well because it's not taken in a fantastical way. I mean, think about what happens in this film. Angels turn up and praise and all of this stuff turns around, and this, you didn't save this guy's life and you didn't do it, but it doesn't seem fantastical. It seems like it's grounded in this reality that I think they were writing it with such a serious outlook and such a serious tone. There's no fat on this whatsoever.
Yeah.
It is so lean and so to the point and such a direct message that I think if you read this screenplay, you would go, right, well, this needs to be made and made once. We cannot replicate this ever again. People have tried and they've failed time and time again. It's a piece of writing that is just of the time, to be made then. It's like the tablets that Moses brought down, like the Ten Commandments. Like, it's just written in stone and it's made for that time and you can't replace it. I think it's just genius because it's just so well done, so well explored. And like I say, it just can't be replicated.
Yeah, of the time, but with timeless themes as well.
I know it really makes sense. It's just got this real directness to it. It resonates.
Still relevant, for certain.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So the film is based on a book, and that's called The Greatest Gift, and that was written by Philip Van Doren Stern. And he said that in 1938, he woke up after a dream that was reminiscent of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. And when he was shaving, the whole story for The Greatest Gift came to him.
Yeah, the Christmas Carol starting point, I think that's fairly obvious, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
It's like start to finish, just about.
But Van Doren Stern struggled to sell the idea to a publisher. So on Christmas 1943, what he did was he adapted the story into a 21-page Christmas card, had 200 copies printed, and sent it out to family and friends titled The Greatest Gift, A Christmas Tale.
Imagine getting a 21-page Christmas card.
Like,
Massive
what on
effort.
earth is this?
That's huge, yeah.
Apparently Van Doren Stern personally signed all the copies as well.
Right.
So might have thought a little highly of himself, even at that
A
stage.
little bit like
I'll sign that for you.
Yeah,
Who are you?
that'll be worth something. Yeah. And Van Doren Stern's daughter, Marguerite, later said that in March 1944, there was a phone call at the house. She just heard her father yell, "Hold me up, I can't believe it." It was his agent on the phone saying he'd received an offer from RKO Pictures to buy The Greatest Gift.
Amazing.
Yeah, it happened because the epic Christmas card ended up in front of David Hempstead, an RKO producer.
Yeah.
So Van Doren Stern was looking for a book publisher, and Hollywood turned up.
Yeah.
I'd collapse as well.
Nice.
I know. Wasn't the one of the people that he sent the whole Christmas card to his actual agent, though? And his agent then put it in the producer's desk.
Yeah.
Give it to your agent first.
Exactly, yeah.
Don't make him one of the 200 people. Like, I think you should kind of go straight to him and go, "What do you think of this, maybe?" Yeah, that'll work.
The first writers RKO hired to work on the screenplay were Clifford Odets, Mark Connolly, and Dalton Trumbo, who all wrote separate scripts. In Trumbo's draft, George Bailey was a politician who grows more cynical as the story progresses, then tries to commit suicide after losing an election. Clarence then shows him Bedford Falls if he had gone into business instead of politics, not as it would be if he'd never been born.
Right.
Yeah, that's when they were writing with Cary Grant in mind as George.
Right.
And that sounds like it might have suited Grant a bit more.
A little bit more, definitely. That politician figure.
A much colder story, though. Like, be a businessman and you be a success, where this is more about being a good human and you be a success.
Yeah, exactly. And as we talked about, those scripts sat gathering dust. Frank Capra bought the rights to The Greatest Gift. He hired Albert Hackett and Francis Goodrich to help him write it because of their reputation. After the casting of Jimmy Stewart, maybe even alongside it, possibly the most important hire Capra made was Hackett and Goodrich.
Yeah.
And the writers did make quite a lot of changes to Van Dorensen's book for the big screen. As we've been saying, the title was changed from The Greatest Gift, but it wasn't immediately changed to It's a Wonderful Life. A title I was seriously considered first was The Man Who Was Never Born.
Sounds like the Hitchcock version.
It does, yeah.
Loads of murders.
Not great, that one.
No, The Greatest Gift's better than that.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
And in the book, George's surname isn't Bailey, it's Pratt. And there's minimal backstory. The book opens with George on Christmas Eve ready to kill himself.
Dark.
Yeah, it sounds like a pretty great opener, to be honest.
Yeah.
But we need that backstory, though, don't we?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. 100%.
Yeah. So the opening 2 acts were all added for the film. So a huge change straight off.
Right, got you.
Massive.
Like, start a Lethal Weapon, open on a suicide.
It's influenced everything, this, hasn't
Yeah,
it?
it really has, yeah. Christmas, yeah, great.
And also in the book, there's no Clarence. George is shown his alternate life by a mysterious stranger. There's also no Uncle Billy or Mr. Potter. They were created by Goodrich and Hackett.
Nice. Does that mysterious stranger end up being Benjamin Franklin?
Big Ben.
But yeah, the whole An Angel Getting Its Wings thing isn't in the book. Pottersville isn't in the book. The Mr. Gower segment isn't in the book. I mean, these are enormous contributions from Goodrich and Hackett.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
And the book ends very quietly, just with George back at home thinking about how he nearly sent Mary to this never-born world where her life is much worse.
Yeah, the film, not quite as quiet an ending, is it?
No.
Just the whole town in one house.
Yeah.
Piles of cash.
He just gets back and says phew, and then it ends.
But Van Dorensen told a story later that on New Year's Eve 1946, he received a letter from Jimmy Stewart that said, "Thank you for giving us that idea. I think it's the best one anyone's had for a long time."
Nice.
Classy guy.
He might have been right, since Charles Dickens. Anyway.
Yeah.
Capra had some input into the script as well. He took elements from his own life. So Harry becoming an engineer and Sam Wainwright works in plastics. These both came from Capra's own education in chemical engineering.
Lovely.
And the Martinis, the family who own the bar and George move into Bailey Park. They're based on Capra's own family who emigrated from Sicily in 1903.
Great.
You heard they've got a goat in the car, haven't they?
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
I love the way Mary just like holds the horns because they're dangerous.
Yeah. But the Italian word for goat is capra.
Right, there you go.
Okay.
Lovely personal touch.
Nice. Coming from Sicily in 1903, like Vito Corleone.
I know, yeah. Not quite as dramatic, I wouldn't imagine.
Definitely not, no.
Albert Hackett and Francis Goodrich didn't get on with Frank Capra. Goodrich said, "Oh, that horrid man. He just couldn't wait to get writing it all by himself."
Right.
And when Hackett and Goodrich were writing the script, Capra was rewriting what they sent him behind their backs with a writer called Joe Swirling. He also brought in Dorothy Parker as a consultant.
Nasty.
Yeah, skeeving.
Yeah, Joe Swirling had written 5 Capra films before this, and Albert Hackett said about Capra, he's a very arrogant son of a bitch.
Right.
You don't call Francis my dear woman and get away with it.
Nice.
I can imagine.
That was the catalyst, just called his wife my dear woman.
Yeah.
And that was it. She never spoke to him again.
So because there were so many names involved in the writing process, the Screenwriters Arbitration Committee had to get involved. Hackett and Goodrich wanted Capra and Joe Swirling's credits removed entirely. Capra agreed to Swirling being removed, but not himself.
That's good of him.
Thanks, Frank. So that's why the screenplay is credited to Francis Goodrich, Albert Hackett, and Frank Capra.
Yeah, he agreed with Swirling being removed, but not him.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
I'll give you Swirling if I can stay.
And unsurprisingly, Joe Swirling apparently never spoke to Capra again.
No.
And Hackett and Goodrich never worked with him again.
Wow. Enemies all over the place.
Yeah.
So after all that, Francis Goodrich, Albert Hackett and Frank Capra were not nominated at the Oscars. Capra never wrote another full screenplay ever again, but Goodrich and Hackett went on to write Father of the Bride, 7 Brides for 7 Brothers, Easter Parade and The Diary of Anne Frank.
Right.
Right.
Big career for them.
Brilliant.
Some trouble with the writing on It's a Wonderful Life, it seems then. They pulled it all together though, and pretty exceptional Christmas film writing for us.
Yeah. The
Oh,
best.
yeah, absolutely.
Without doubt.
And some pretty great Christmas card writing as well.
Definitely.
21 pages of it.
Some dedicated Christmas card writing.
Moving on from the writing to the music, and the composer on It's a Wonderful Life was Dmitri Tiomkin. A Russian-born classical composer by trade, by this point he'd already been working in Hollywood for a couple of decades and had worked with Capra 4 times before this, including You Can't Take It With You and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, and he had 4 Oscar nominations under his belt.
Great, big chops.
Dmitry Tiomkin, not exactly a household name, Luke, but a lot of Hollywood success. How's his music on It's a Wonderful Life?
I think he does something very smart in his music, in his work. It knows when to step forward and when to disappear entirely. For a film with such emotional peaks and valleys, a heavy-handed score could have, tipped everything over the edge. But Tiomkin shows a lot of restraint.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, yeah.
Often you don't notice that the music is there. I do like the way that he weaves Buffalo Gals throughout the film as George and Mary's theme. It's playful at the start, hopeful, but by the time we hear echoes of it later, it's bittersweet.
Yeah.
Same tune, just a different emotional weight.
Yeah, it's like a Radiohead cover by the end.
Terrifying. And then there's that Pottersville sequence where the score goes really dark. It's almost like noir, all tension and unease. Tiomkin's got a unique understanding of the brief. He's not scoring a Christmas film anymore. He's scoring a nightmare sequence.
Yeah.
But he also knows that silence works as well. Some of the film's most devastating moments play without any score at all, and that restraint is just as important as his music. Great work.
Yeah, for me, it's not necessarily the fact that there is a score in this film. For me, it's the flourishes that he does, and he really reads the emotion in the room.
Yeah.
He's not writing a score, he's writing emotion, and he's doing it really well, and it doesn't smack you over the head with it, but there's just a couple of little bits that really get me. You mentioned the close-up, John, when they said, but George, they're going to go with Potter otherwise.
Yeah.
That flourish of music is just doom. It's just there, and it's not long. It doesn't hold on it for ages. Just that moment where you just feel that sense of dread, and that's in the score, and it's not massively obvious, but it's there. And there's the moment when Potter gets the money. It's almost playful, but it's Joker-esque, and it's kind of sickly.
Yeah.
It's like Potter's excitement, which is like this horrible negative tingle, which is in the score. And he does that throughout the film. I think he just really addresses the emotion of the scenes without there being an overlying arc or an overlying score, let's say. But I mean, if you actually listen to It's a Wonderful Life, there's a lot of music in there. But Luke's right, it's just he knows when to put it in the background and when to pull it forward.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, he does. I agree. I think you kind of don't really notice the score. And I mean that as a compliment. It's woven in so well, it just feels natural.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's extra impressive because it has to match the tone shift the film goes through. The early Bedford Falls scenes are very, like, Americana, very Norman Rockwell.
Yeah.
I can't believe we don't see Apple Pie at some point. But the music matches all that. And then by the end in Pottersville, it's a lot darker and the music goes with it. It is kind of film noir-like in those scenes. And we mentioned Buffalo Gals, but similar with Auld Lang Syne at the end. The whole town belting it out together.
yeah.
Ridiculous, but brilliant, obviously. I do wonder how much that was influenced by the Le Marseillaise scene in Casablanca. I mean, not as aggressive here, but not long after it, and just as famous.
Yeah.
But I think what Tiomkin got is something maybe some audiences at the time didn't, which is that as a film, it's funny, but it's not just a comedy. It's dark and serious, but it's not just a drama. It's kind of something in between, a fantasy at times.
Yeah.
And the score has to hold all that together, which I think it does. And Tiomkin went on to become a bit of a legendary composer in westerns, so this probably isn't his most famous music, but I think he's a bit of an unsung hero here as to why the film works as well as it does.
Yeah.
Definitely. There's a ridiculous amount of variety in the score.
Yeah, there is.
I mean, I know he didn't write it, but Buffalo Gals is an absolute banger, isn't it?
No, it's a tune.
It's a tuning of that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely love that coming in. For me, it's what we talked about on our last episode, 12 Angry Men. It's a different era for music and soundtracks. And like I said then, unless you're Hitchcock working with Bernard Herrmann or an actual musical, or it's Gone with the Wind where you need a huge overture, it's just about accentuating tones and scenes. So the real standout for me is when George makes that run back to the bridge in Pottersville, and you just get this like choir sweeping in and up on the soundtrack behind him with this brass band behind it, which does sound very Christmassy, but it's not in a like a sweet, sugary way. There's a melancholy to it, and it's really impactful at that moment. So yeah, the kind of soundtrack where we don't really view it as we view like common soundtracks today, but it's one where when the music hits, it really, really hits.
Yeah, that moment on the bridge at the end, the music goes really, really dark. It's not like a tune, it's kind of just a mood. It's really, really good.
Yeah, I think it mixes perfectly with the sound design as well. I think the sound design on this film deserves a shout because that's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Like Pottersville as a sound landscape
Yeah.
is horrible. You got this like people screaming and sirens and then that music over the top and everything else just totally works together. And how quiet Bedford Falls is.
Yeah.
But you can hear that snow somehow.
You can't, yeah.
All about the sound design on this film is incredible.
Tiomkin and Capra had an existing long-term relationship, but that didn't stop Capra replacing some of his music, just making enemies left, right and centre.
Of course he is, yeah.
Capra wasn't keen on some of the cues Tiomkin came up with, so replaced them with stock music from the RKO library. And the finale, as the townspeople pour into the Bailey house, Tiomkin had used Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, but Capra replaced it with Hallelujah from The Hunchback of Notre Dame, an RKO film from 1939.
Just does what he wants, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Frank Capra. I'll do what I want.
Yeah, exactly. Some melodies by Frank Capra.
Well, there were another couple of pieces that Tiomkin composed for the Gower drugstore sequence, and Capra just ditched the music completely, but didn't bother to tell Tiomkin.
Right.
Kubrick.
Yeah, very much so.
Although I do enjoy the names of those pieces. One was called Gower's Deliverance, and the other was called The Death Telegram. Oh, Merry Christmas.
Okay.
Death Telegram, right on my street. That Jingle Bells in A minor, and half time. And Tiomkin was furious, as we can imagine, about all the cuts. His autobiography was published in 1959. It was called Please Don't Hate Me, because when he gave feedback to a director, Tiomkin had a reputation of starting with Please Don't Hate Me. But
Great.
in that book, Tiomkin praised Capra for giving him his break in Hollywood, but criticised the music in It's a Wonderful Life, calling it a scissors job.
Tell you what, for all the peace on earth, goodwill to all men message of It's a Wonderful Life, Capra sure went out of his way to piss everybody off when he was making it.
He did, yeah. Slapping ears left, right and centre.
No Oscar nominations for Dmitry Tiomkin on It's a Wonderful Life, but he carried on having quite the career after it and scored some classic films. High Noon, Giant, The Guns of Navarone, Rio Bravo, all feature music composed by Dmitry Tiomkin. And he went on to win 3 Oscars and be nominated for 14.
Wow.
He might be the greatest Hollywood composer that almost no one's ever heard of.
Yeah.
Don't hate me, but I'll get you an Oscar.
Leaving the music, we're now moving to the visuals and the cinematography of It's a Wonderful Life. The credited directors of photography on the film are Joseph Walker and Joseph Biroc. Joseph Walker had been Capra's go-to guy to this point, and they'd worked together on 20 films. Joseph Biroc, though, only had 2 features under his belt before this one.
Wow.
So before we explain why the film has 2 credited DPs, what do we think of how It's a Wonderful Life looks?
I mean, it looks incredible. It still does. I mean, if you watch the 4K version of it, it's absolutely sublime.
Yeah.
It's so clean, it's so crisp, it's so well lit, it's so well shot. And it has to be in black and white. It's probably one of my favourite black and white films. It's just so well captured on that negative. It's just the lighting, it's just incredible. And normally, if you're shooting black and white, you would need really hard light for it to work, for it to get the contrast ratio. So your blacks are black and your whites are white, and you've got no kind of balance in the middle. This film has the same contrast ratio across the whole thing. But at the same time, they're using different light sources to have different emotions. So just like we spoke about with Tiomkin's music, if you look at the cinematography here, so as an example, we've got soft light with low contrast, but the contrast ratio stays the same. So you have the same amount of light and shadow, basically. That's Mary's mother's house.
Right.
So it's a very nice low contrast situation. Hard light, soft contrast, that's the building alone. So it's hard lit, so there's a seriousness to it. Soft light, hard contrast. That's after they've come out of the water and same in Clarence and they're drying all the clothes.
Oh, yeah.
It's a soft light but a hard contrast, so you just see that there's something serious going on there, but it's a soft tone with Clarence. And then you've got hard light, hard contrast, which is when they get into 320 Sycamore and it's been abandoned. They're all backlit.
Oh, yeah.
So it's basically just highlighting the emotion by using tone and using black and white. It was never ever going to be shot in colour. Joseph Walker later said that Capra's plan was to always shoot this film in black and white. He wanted to portray it with visual poetry through shadows and light, and that's exactly what he does with all of them scenes, but he uses different shadows and different light, and it still looks the same all the way through.
Brilliant.
The black and white does give it a timeless quality, I think.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think the cinematography is really modern looking. And the freeze frame you mentioned earlier on, how cool is that?
Oh, yeah. They're using kind of state-of-the-art lenses here. These are really sharp and it really, really shows on the negative.
Yeah, I just think it really pops off the screen. And the look of the film, it goes from the likeness of Bedford Falls to Pottersville, where it just becomes film noir and then actually horror at the end. Like that scene at Harry's grave, that could come from a Universal horror film at the time. You know, the kind of Frankenstein and Dracula films.
Yeah, a hand could come out of the grave and like carry.
Yeah.
And I think like those shots of the churning river where George is contemplating suicide, they are so bleak and terrifying, but you can feel like the icy chill just like coming out of the screen because they're so well shot. And what struck me as well is just all the really great use of close-up, particularly on James Stewart. I mean, we've mentioned them already, but, you know, when he's argued with Potter in the boardroom and he goes to leave, but they say, no, we'll vote against Potter if you stay. And it's that huge close-up on Stewart's anguished face. He realises what that means. The scene at the bar when he prays, that one when he comes out of Mark Bailey's house, and he gets right up to that camera and he practically stares down it in horror as everything is hitting him. It's incredible stuff.
See, I mean, there's multiple DPs on the film, but I don't think you can tell to watch it. Not in a bad way. Anyway, it all feels and looks as one piece, and I think it's just superbly shot.
Yeah.
What I always noticed about the cinematography is how intimate it feels. We're right there at the Bailey table during family dinners. We're pressed up close as hell during that kiss scene. I feel nearly as left out as Sam Wainwright.
You're more involved than Sam Wainwright.
And those shots of George on the bridge where he's going to end it all, we're right there with him then as well.
Yeah.
But they can then pull back and give us these stunning establishing shots. Bedford Falls is pretty much a character in the film, and the wide shots we get of the main street are fantastic.
Yeah, they are.
I think Capra was showing off a set he had built as well, which we'll talk about.
Well, yeah.
But one of the most impressive things, I think, is the contrast between Bedford Falls and Pottersville is brilliantly handled visually. Bedford Falls is all soft and warm. It feels and looks like a very safe place. Pottersville is much more harsh. Shadows and neon lights. Clearly noir influenced again. It's the same set, but it doesn't look like it or feel like it. And my favourite shot in the film does come in the Pottersville sequence after George leaves Mar Bailey's boarding house and he runs towards the camera. We get that super close-up of his face as he looks around the place. He looks right into the camera.
Yeah.
That shot is incredible.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that's just one moment of many. I think it's just great visual storytelling all the way through.
It would have been amazing if Pottersville was in colour, like Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
With all the neons, and then it went back to black and white when he's back again.
That would have been cool, yeah.
Yeah, like Death Proof.
What I find incredible here is that one of the DPs, Joseph Biroc, he shot Airplane
Yeah.
He did.
in 1980 from Bedford Falls to Don't Call Me Shirley. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I echo a lot of the things that you fellas were saying. The cinematography is outstanding. Two distinct worlds that are created here. The warmth of Bedford Falls, the noir of Pottersville. When George enters that alternate reality, you feel it before anybody says a word, because the lighting tells you that something's really wrong, like you were saying, Westy.
Yeah.
And what I really like is how they shoot the domestic scenes. There's an intimacy to that Bailey household. It feels lived in. It feels dirty, for want of a better word. It's real. It's cluttered.
Yeah.
The camera doesn't keep its distance, and it's right there with the family. And then you've got those big set pieces. The dance floor opening up in the swimming pool, the snowy streets of Bedford Falls. They handle scale and intimacy equally well, which really isn't easy. I think it's classical Hollywood craftsmanship. Nothing showy. Everything in service of the story itself.
You've just said there, that was really interesting when you said the warmth of Bedford Falls. It's nearly impossible to shoot warmth in black and white. Who does it?
That's crazy, yeah.
Yeah. So I said before that there are 2 credited directors of photography on It's a Wonderful Life. I also said we'd tell the story of why that is, and we're about to now. Aren't you, Matt?
I am indeed. So, there's actually 3 DPs that worked on the film.
Oh.
First of all, Capra hired a cinematographer called Victor Milner, and he'd won an Oscar in 1934 for Cleopatra, but Capra just wasn't happy with how the film was looking. So, this is outrageous. When Milner got ill after a few weeks, Capra took the chance to fire him, and almost everything that Milner filmed was reshot.
Wow.
Get well soon.
I mean, if you did Cleopatra, it's going to be huge, isn't it, in scale?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah, we shot everything. Ridley Scott. Capra's like every demanding director ever rolled into one like nightmare package.
in this one production.
Yeah. Victor Milner, he'd worked with Cecil B. DeMille several times, and apparently he was very meticulous, as you might expect.
Yeah.
But Capra just took it as being slow and pretentious. So, get out.
Get out. Yeah.
So Capra then turned to his trusted collaborator, Joseph Walker. They had worked together 20 times, like we said, including Mr. Deeds Goes to Town, You Can't Take It With You, and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. They managed to get Walker on a loan from Columbia Pictures, but midway through the shoot, Columbia demanded Walker return to finish a film for them.
Yeah, some reports say that Capra and Walker had a disagreement on how to shoot one scene, so Capra fired him. Surely even Capra wouldn't do that after working together for so long. Maybe.
Don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so.
But before Walker left the production, he trained one of his chief camera operators, Joseph Biroc, so he could take over from him. Now, it's not documented who exactly shot what, but Walker shot most of the film, set the film styles, and then Biroc took over, and it's likely that Biroc shot most of the Pottersville sequence because that was scheduled for later in the shoot.
Great.
Right.
So Joseph Biroc was a filmmaker, World War II veteran like Capra. Apparently, he was the first American cameraman to film the liberation of Paris in August 1944.
Wow.
So when you see that footage, it's pretty famous footage. It's probably the guy who shot It's a Wonderful Life behind the camera, which is a bit mad.
And Airplane.
And Airplane.
And Blazing Saddles.
And Blazing Saddles, yeah.
Wow.
No award recognition for the cinematography on It's a Wonderful Life. Interestingly, after this film, Joseph Walker and Frank Capra never worked together again. So was there some truth in them falling out after all?
Maybe.
Who knows? But on a happier note, it did launch the career of Joseph Biroc. Blazing Saddles, he was co-DP on The Towering Inferno.
Yeah.
And, yeah, Airplane.
There it is.
Picked the wrong week to stop sniffing glue.
It's coming right at us.
But whichever Joseph shot what scene, some outstanding cinematography here.
Yeah.
No, yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
So a lot to get through there. Famous screenplay work from Francis Goodrich and Albert Hackett, although the fella with Capra. Impressive stuff from composer Dmitry Tiomkin. He also fell out with Capra. And the fantastic DPs, where nobody seems to know who fell out with who, but in the end, it all turned out pretty wonderful somehow.
Yeah.
It did.
That's why it didn't get many Oscars. No one knew who to give what to.
The end.
Into the end of It's a Wonderful Life, and so far we've had a lot of very engaging setup building up to a big final act, and that's what we're going to talk about now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The famous finale where Bedford Falls comes together to help the Baileys is coming up, but before we get there, we've got Bedford Falls without George, Pottersville, and An Angel Who Wants His Wings.
Great.
Iconic.
So Christmas Eve, Bedford Falls, and all is well, but not for long. Cue Uncle Billy. On his way to deposit the building and loans funds into the bank, Billy accidentally gives the $8,000 to Potter, leading to George becoming a Christmas crackpot.
Yeah.
How's it going for you, Westy?
Oh, Billy.
Absolute klutz.
God. It's just the playfulness here. Now, we've said that Thomas Mitchell is fantastic in this film, and this is where he's absolutely fantastic. Because he plays it with such childlike glee when he's going in there. He's top of the world. Harry's coming back. He's got $8,000 to stick in the bank. Nothing can go wrong at all. Everything's just top notch. And he just has a dig at Potter. Now, that's completely out of character for him to do that because he feels like he's on top.
Yeah.
And that's the universe coming back round and saying, know your place. There's no point because if you stoke the fire, you're going to get burned. So stay out the way. Stay apart from it. Like you don't want any part of this. He tries to be and challenge Potter at his own game and fails immediately. And when he gives him that paper every single time, I'm like, no,
It's horrible.
don't give him that newspaper, man. It's got the $8,000 in it, Jesus. And then the guy behind the counter is such a dick. He's like, try that finger. We've all had this anxiety, this panic, this where you just check your pockets 8 times,
Oh,
the
it's
same
horrible.
pockets are the same pants or the same coat. You go back to that same coat and you're like, yeah, you just say, it's got to be there, it's got to be somewhere. And he plays that so well, that panic and that anxiety that comes across on the screen is just wonderful. I love how this is cross-cut as well with George helping out Violet when he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
I know you'll get a job. I know you're going to be all right. But then when Uncle Billy goes into his office and George comes in, he's like, what's the matter with you? He's just like banging someone his ear. Everything's fine. What's the matter with you? And it really needs to hit because if you don't feel this anxiety as the audience, you're not going to buy the end. You're not going to buy the fact that he falls apart. It absolutely smacks you all over. And I'm so pleased it does because it really makes the ending sing.
It really does.
He's too full of himself. Uncle Billy showing pot of the paper with Harry Bailey War Hero on it, rubbing it in.
He feels like he's won at that point. It's heartbreaking.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's agonising to watch. I mean, to be fair, Billy's a total scatterbrain, so it feels like it was a matter of time before something like this happened. String on his fingers. Don't give this guy $8,000 on Christmas Eve.
He's just got to go across the road, though. How can you fuck
But Thomas Mitchell is really good. He's been a comedic foil to this point, but then you totally feel this complete panic at what's happening.
It's awful. Yeah.
And the scene that follows where George loses it with Billy at Billy's place.
Yeah.
How great's that? That's got one of the most devastating lines in the film, where George is like, one of us is going to jail, well, it's not going to be me.
Yeah.
Massive. Stewart's delivery of that is ridiculous.
Yeah, there's no humour at the end of this when he leaves. He doesn't like go to the squirrel and say, that goes for you too.
Yeah, exactly.
It just leaves you empty.
It does, but it's such a simple setup, like a mistake, but it's the moment the entire third act works from.
Yeah.
I think something Capra seemed to always understand in his films is that the best drama often comes from human errors rather than big conspiracies and stuff, and this is the perfect example.
Understandable errors as well. Everyone's done this.
Yes, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
It's excruciating to watch. Even Billy's squirrel can't bear it.
Yeah. So then George comes home, and this is what I mean when I said Stewart has mapped out the performance in his head, because he's only given these hints at this anger inside him. But this scene it's that cliche, it's the pan of water finally boiling over. And this whole sequence is so difficult to watch because, like, when he sits down with his youngest and he just starts quietly crying to himself as the kid's putting tinsel in his hair and trying to play with him.
Yeah.
When I watched this for the first time, I vividly remember just sitting there going, oh, I don't like where this is going. This is supposed to be a happy film. What's going on now?
I don't like this.
Don't like this.
This isn't cool.
But it just gets worse and it escalates when he's kicking the chair around the kitchen, but he's pulling back on it slightly, like he's trying to restrain himself. I don't even think he knows what he's saying at this stage. You know, why do we have to have all these kids? They're right there in front of him.
Yeah.
But he can't keep it in anymore and he's fractured. But when he finally loses it and he smashes that room up and you realise what he's laying into with his kicks and his punches, they are all his plans and models.
Yeah.
He's still building stuff. He still has dreams, but they've literally been pushed into the tiniest corner in the room because the family's taken over everything else in the house.
Yeah.
And that's all that's left for his dream. It's brilliant visual storytelling. And then when he turns around to face his family and he realises what he's done, that expression on his face is just utter horror. He's unrecognisable in that moment. He doesn't look like Jimmy Stewart.
No.
It's like a Jekyll and Hyde thing, and you can hear a pin drop in that moment. It's terrifying, genuinely.
It is very dark.
Yeah, I mean, he's a monster here, isn't he? Smashing things up.
Yeah.
Why do we have to have all these kids? It's one of the most horrendous lines in cinema.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
My parents always laughed at that, though, when I watched it.
That explains a lot.
My mum and dad were like, yeah, you little bastard.
But you don't need any dialogue in this scene. It's all in Stewart's physical performance when he grabs a hold of Tommy so tight with tears in his eyes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We know the weight he's carrying, the potential implications of Uncle Billy's actions. Billy bullshit.
Yeah.
And one look at George, and Mary can see that too. It's devastating stuff.
Yeah.
It is. I think it's the hardest scene in the film to watch.
It really is.
Yeah.
I think it's incredible because obviously when George snaps and starts trashing the living room, it's horrible. But the build up to that, where he's walking around the house just being a right miserable sod, there's loads of humour in that.
Yeah.
Tommy, his little son, following him around going, "Excuse me, I burped." Always makes me laugh.
It's brilliant.
George on the phone, the Zuzu's teacher, going absolutely crazy on Christmas Eve is nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll string her up.
Yeah. Threatening to punch Mr. Welsh's lights out. I mean, that didn't work out, did it?
Nah.
Not really.
But the tone balancing is incredible. Yeah, George says to Mary, why do I have to have all these kids? A horrific line. It's kind of funny as well at the same time.
Yeah.
I think it's Stewart. He's so good. He can skate all these lines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, can.
And he's superb all the way through this sequence. If I'm picking one scene of his, I might go for this one.
Yeah.
Then again, I might not. He's that good.
Yeah.
So after his spectacular dressing down from Potter, George drowns his sorrows in martinis. There's a lovely bit of juxtaposition here. The establishing shot of the bar looks so inviting from outside, wonderful music playing. But then we go inside and George is beyond despair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely agitated, looking for anything to take his pain away, and you can feel that pain. the moment when he's praying is really telling. I'm sure that when things have gotten so desperate for people watching, maybe that they may have turned to a higher power to save them when they might not necessarily have done in the past. And that's what George does here. He's not a praying man, but he's got absolutely nowhere else to turn. It's incredibly powerful stuff. But then, to make matters worse, Mr. Welsh, who I don't know what he's doing here on Christmas Eve. Why isn't he with his wife?
That's weird.
He's been crying for an hour.
Yeah.
He was with his wife and he just left.
Yeah. I'm going to the pub.
You deal with that. I'm going to the pub.
Sick of her crying.
And he catches George a Butte right in the mush.
Yeah, when George starts to pray, how good Stewart there.
Oh, that's amazing.
This is the guy who was lolloping down the street like Goofy an hour ago.
Yeah.
Now, completely by him, as being on the brink.
Yeah.
But the scene just before this is when George goes to Potter's to beg him to bail him out, and Potter just refuses.
Awful.
I'm not sure there's another scene anywhere where I despise the villain as much as I do Potter in that moment.
He's horrible.
It's a total dishonesty. He's got the money and is going to let this good man go to jail to make himself even richer. And if you notice as well, the way that scene's framed, because, well, George is still sitting on the floor, basically, but Potter's looming over him, and over Potter's shoulder, there's a bust of Napoleon.
Yeah.
That also seems to be looking down on George.
Great.
Like two dictators, like bearing down on him. Yeah, it's great.
And Martini's as well as some great foreshadowing for the end. I think Martini himself is absolutely fantastic when he's like, why you drink so much, my friend?
Yeah, he's great.
Oh, go home, Mr. Benny. He's just looking after him. Nick's looking after him. But after he gets hit by Walsh, he goes, you've just hit my best friend.
Best friend. That's the impact he has.
Yeah, I'm sure Martini's got $8,000 in the safe. He's pulling that money in. He's surely.
You might have.
In the moment in the bar where George is praying, the camera slowly pushes in on George as he talks. If you look closely, you'll see the close-up with Stewart is a bit grainy and unfocused. That's because Capra didn't plan to shoot a close-up, but Stewart was so good and portrayed so much desperation that Capra had the editor, William Hornbeck, blow up the shot and reframe it to zoom in. That's why the quality isn't as good.
Yes, Stewart said that he was thinking about all the loneliness and hopelessness of some people in the world, especially on the back of his experiences in the war, and he started crying, for real, filming it.
Wow.
And Capra had filmed it as a wide shot because he wasn't expecting it, so it's an incredible moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
And then it's time for Clarence Oddbody to make his appearance. Angel Second Class, played by Henry Travers. He's got the IQ of a rabbit, according to Joseph, which is harsh, coming from a saint.
Yeah.
How was he in the film, though?
First class. That's what he is. Amazing. I think he's already got a presence and a personality before we even see his face on account of this conversation with the big man. He's got a great voice.
Yeah.
And Travers brings such lovable charm to Clarence, such warmth. He is the embodiment of a guardian angel. He plays it so gentle, but he's not afraid to get dirty either when he's required to bite a policeman's wrist.
Yeah.
And Henry Travers is from near our neck of the woods. He's from Prudhoe, which is, what, like 30 miles from us?
Yeah.
Yeah, northeast. You're from the northeast, yeah.
Yeah, incredible. He's brilliant.
When Joyce saves Clarence from the water, George's dive in is like perfect.
That's unbelievable.
Tom Daly. But I love the scene in the cabin where Clarence grants George's wish to erase him from existence. We kind of get Clarence's backstory there as well. I like it when the night watchman fella says, where do you come from? Heaven.
Matter of fact.
Yeah, just slowly walks out. It's great.
And Henry Travers had started as a stage actor, and he became known in Hollywood for playing warm, bumbling older men. He'd been in some big films like The Invisible Man, the Claude Rains classic, and Shadow of a Doubt, the Hitchcock film. And Capra had actually passed Travers over for a role in You Can't Take It With You, but thought of him straight away for Clarence instead.
Well, I'm glad he did.
Nice.
That scene in the watchman's cabin, you've got Clarence, who has loads of comedy lines, talking to George, who's like contemplating suicide. And I believe both of them.
Yeah.
And it's in the same scene. It's all like handled so well.
It is.
So Clarence is here, but as far as Bedford Falls is concerned, George is gone. Should we take a trip into Pottersville?
Let's do it.
If we have to.
Go on, let's go.
So George Bailey is no longer with us. Clarence has deleted him from history, so we now see what the world would have looked like without George. In one of the most famous sequences from the film, George returns to Bedford Falls, now called Pottersville, to find nobody knows who he is. How's it all playing out?
All devastating stuff.
Yeah.
But obviously he's never been born, so he could do with a couple of stiff drinks. So it's back to Martini/Nicks with his new best friend. I mean, Clarence couldn't look more out of place at that bar.
Yeah.
asking for mulled wine.
It's when he put his hand on Nick's. It's like, thank you, my lovely man. It's great.
Nick's unbelievable here. That accent. We serve hard drinks in here for men who want to get drunk fast. Is that clear? Or do I have to slip in my left for a convincer?
Yeah.
He loves that line.
Yeah.
To Clarence, like a nice old man. It's all-
I know, but he has like given them the orders to get on the drinks menu as soon as possible. Come on.
Yeah.
But things are beginning to get a little odd, and it's dawning on us, just like it is on George, that this is actually real. Nick doesn't know who he is. Without George's existence, Mr. Gower poisons a kid and has spent time in the joint. The start of the tragedy and George's road back to redemption really hits with a bang.
It does. I think what's great about Pottersville is that it's not just things are bad now. It's really specific, like really personal.
Seedy, isn't it?
Yeah. Mr. Gower wasn't saved by George, so he went to prison, he became an alcoholic, he lost everything.
Yeah.
And then he gets water sprayed in his face. I mean, even though Gower wasn't exactly nice to George earlier, it's still pretty sad seeing him like totally humiliated like that.
Yeah.
Mr. Gower. Mr. Gower.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after this, George, he's doing the rounds. He's trying to find someone that recognises him or something that he recognises. So he's off to Bailey Park, but that's no longer there, and it's Harry's grave instead. And I don't know if this is my favourite scene in the film, but it's definitely got my favourite line from the film. And I mentioned this in the cinematography, but this is basically a scene from a horror film.
It is.
That wailing on the soundtrack, the howling wind, the black and white starkness of it all. And then obviously Harry's grave, which just feels like a really big tip of the hat to A Christmas Carol when Scrooge sees his own grave. But it's the conversation between George and Clarence here. When George refuses to believe Harry drowned as a kid, he went to war, he saved the lives of every man on that transport. And it's Clarence's reply, every man on that transport died. Harry wasn't there to save them because you weren't there to save Harry. Like, I get goosebumps just thinking about that line.
It's massive.
Just thinking about the ramifications of George's actions, like all those mothers without sons, children without fathers, because George wasn't around to do something when he was just 12 years old.
Yeah.
And that's the point of the film. You can't know the ripple effect of you being in the world. You've just got to trust in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the delivery there as well. It's like a child.
Delivery, man.
You can save them because you were there to save Harry.
Yeah.
Come on. It's obvious, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cemetery is the darkest moment in the film. It is like a universal horror, you're right, Matt. It's all the mist.
Yeah.
Like half expecting Lon Chaney or someone to show up.
Yeah.
But and the kind of unspoken thing as well is that, Bailey Park that George built, that no longer exists now as well.
Yeah.
One of many scenes that highlights the impact that people have in other people's lives, like you've been saying. It just makes you stop and think about your impact on others.
Yeah, it does.
Things that we just take for granted.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this is taken directly from A Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we've been saying, the whole story is pretty much a carbon copy for It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
And then Back to the Future 2 took this
Obviously.
pretty much exactly.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
connects.
it's really interesting that it's Bailey Park is now a cemetery and that George wasn't there to build it up. Instead, it goes down. So it's the opposite of everything that he tried to do.
Yeah.
And he really now needs the one person who knows him better than he knows himself, and he needs to find Mary because surely that is still the same. Surely love prevails throughout all of this madness. She'll recognise him. And he's just a wide-eyed maniac at this point.
He is.
She's just about to close the library. And he needs some kind of sense. He just needs to find himself again. He's completely lost. And this is the last straw. The way this is played as well by Donna Reed is fantastic.
Yeah.
She looks lonely. She looks miserable. She looks like she's lost her purpose, or that she never really had a purpose in life, or that George was her purpose.
She's Adrian from Rocky, isn't she?
More or less, yeah.
Yeah.
She works in a library, so she's not really allowed to talk, but you get the feeling that she doesn't really know anyone or doesn't converse with anybody.
Yeah.
It has that sense of loneliness to this character. To be honest, he doesn't approach it very well. He's fucking terrifying.
No.
He's grabbing a hold of her and just like, ah! It's absolutely insane the way she just runs away from him. But the thing that I get from this is not just Mary's reaction. It's everyone that he knows when he goes into that bar and she runs into the back and hides herself. She's like, that's my wife. And she's like, this is just too much for everybody. But then he names everyone and it's a similar shot to when he's in the building alone and he's trying to convince them. But everyone's looking at him with such disdain and such hatred. And then Bert's outside, starts shooting at him.
Pot shots. It's
Just
outrageous.
Pot shots at him.
Doesn't even aim. Just
Bert straight on the gun like Al from Die Hard. He had a ray gun, look real enough. Is that going to be his excuse? But I mean, this, to me, is what hits home with George and hits home with me, that he wanted to build things. And he's built something that even he didn't see. He built something that's even more important than a bridge, more important than a building. He built a family and he built a relationship, and that has gone, and he wants it back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mary is a lonely spinster. She'd have had men queuing round the block for her, surely.
Sam would have been back on the scene.
Yeah. Donna Reed sells it, though. She's like unrecognisable. Is this Mary?
She is.
And there's a nice bit of foreshadowing before this as well. The scene in bed when Mary tells George she's pregnant. Mm-hmm. He says, why'd you marry a guy like me? And she says to keep from being an old maid.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what she becomes. And to keep from marrying Sam Wainwright, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lasso's a stork.
Yeah, exactly.
Live on the nest.
Mary's far too good for all that hee-haw shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We see more of Bedford Falls / Pottersville in the final act here, and the set for the town was rather impressive. It was designed by Emil Coury, the set decorator, and overseen by Jack Oakey, the art director. It was built over 2 months at Encino Ranch, and at the time was one of the biggest sets that had ever been made. It's massive. It covered 4 acres, including 75 stores and buildings, 20 transplanted oak trees, a working bank,
Amazing.
a factory district, a residential and slum area, which is insane.
Yeah.
The main street was 300 yards long, the length of 3 city blocks, and cats and dogs were allowed to roam the set to give it a lived-in feel.
Amazing. Did they ever use it for anything else?
To live in afterwards, I
It's
imagine.
just lived in. Yeah, that's fine. Work and bank, that's unnecessary.
What a set, one of the best. Well, it was adapted from the set that RKO had built for Cimarron, like a Western epic in 1931.
Right, okay, yeah.
But the only bad thing is that they raised the set in 1954. That could have been a real money spinner. Christmas tours around the Bedford Falls set.
Oh, could have been doing the tour, yeah.
I would just live there, to be honest.
And as we know, the final act of the film all takes place on Christmas Eve, and Bedford Falls and Pottersville are both covered in snow because of this. So to create the snow, Capra turned to the head of RKO's effects team, Russell Sheeman, and they developed a new chemical snow made from formite, gypsum, ground ice, water, soap flakes and sugar.
Yeah, so at the time, snow in Hollywood films had usually been created by painting cornflakes white and dropping them onto the set.
Right.
Well, that always needed loads of post-production dubbing because of the sound of the cornflakes like crunching under people's feet.
Yeah.
And Capra wanted to record the dialogue live, so that's why they needed a different solution for this.
Yeah, you can tell that dialogue's recorded live as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You can tell that's a solution as well, because when he pulls Clarence out of the water, when he's swimming with him, and his face...
It's like coagulated on the face, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Looks like when he slams his face in the cake and Mrs. Doubtfire.
It does.
Hello, dear.
Dropping in the coffee.
Yeah. It's a little cappuccino.
And to create all the snow for the film, they used 300 tons of shaved ice, 300 tons of gypsum, 300 tons of plaster and 6,000 gallons of formite, soap and water, with huge wind machines blowing the mixture over the set to make it look like snowfall. And as we said, this replaced cornflakes as the Hollywood standard, and Sheeman won a Technical Achievement Oscar for it, which is the only Oscar the film won.
Yeah. I think the snowfall, especially as it's falling around the streets, that looks really, really good.
Yeah, it does.
It looks realistic.
Oh, it looks amazing.
It looks better than the snow in Home Alone.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
But when he's running up the street and he's skidding in it, that feels like it's just laying down on the ground, yeah. Mm-hmm. Frosty's not been better.
Before we finish on Pottersville, we have our second ATRM Patreon question, and it comes from Deanne Jones.
Hi, Dan.
Hello, Dan.
Hi, Dean.
So Deanne's asking, where would you rather live, Bedford Falls or Pottersville, and why? I think Pottersville looks way more fun, says Deanne.
Right.
It definitely does, all those neon signs. One of them just says girls, girls, girls.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Like a Motley Crue song.
Yeah. It's a Motley Crue album. Yeah.
So Wesley, what are you going for?
I mean, I don't know. I'm really torn, to be honest. I love Bedford Falls. I think the older I get, I'm going to be in Bedford Falls, to be honest. When I was a young man, maybe Pottersville. But I would like to kind of cheat a little bit and say Bedford Falls up until about 7:30 and then go through to Pottersville
For a night out.
Yeah. That's what I would enjoy. But if I have to choose one, 100% Bedford Falls.
Very nice.
It doesn't look more fun, though. Everyone is miserable in Pottersville.
Yeah.
And, like, the point is, it's not about whether it looks fun or not. The point is, the film's about George, and this isn't George's hometown anymore. Like, everything he's worked for, everything he's done to protect it from Potter is gone, and Potter's won. and that's why everyone's miserable. In a place where someone like Potter rules the roost, that's not where I want to go. I just think it's a gaudy, loud neon nightmare, and I already live and see him, so it's Bedford Falls for me.
Deep cut.
Yep.
Deep cut, yeah.
Neon gaudy nightmare, get it in there. Midnight dancing, cocktails, bars, fights every Wednesday night.
Yeah.
The glitz and the glam, what's not to love? I mean, it does look like a lot of fun, but I think you could get in a far too much trouble in Pottersville. One wrong word to the wrong person, you're picking up your teeth with a broken arm, for certain.
Getting pot shots at you from bed.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I think it's like Vegas, great for a week of debauchery, but it's absolutely unsustainable to live there. So I'm going with Bedford Falls.
Yeah. Another influence on Back to the Future as well, Pottersville, and when Biff takes over.
Definitely.
But Biffsville, basically, isn't
Biffsville, yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Well, I think Bedford Falls is like Hill Valley, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Nice, yeah.
So that is Pottersville. We've been through the Nightmare Before Christmas, so I think we deserve the joyous aftermath, don't we?
Oh,
Let's do it.
please. Yes.
Thank goodness.
The closing minutes of It's a Wonderful Life are a festive feast. Clarence reverses George's wish, putting him back into existence, and unbridled joy breaks loose. We see George running through Bedford Falls, wishing everyone and everything Merry Christmas, Clarence getting his much-deserved wings, and the people of the town coming together to help the Baileys.
Yes.
Try and keep it together, Matt. What do you think of this?
I can do it.
Come on, Matt.
Get Matt to go first. Great idea.
Here we go.
Come on, you can do it.
No. If you look it up, the actual dictionary definition of joy is the last 10 minutes of It's a Wonderful Life. Because it really is. When he's back on that bridge, the timing is so perfect. It's when he literally asks God to let him live again with all the consequences that he knows he's going to face, or he thinks he's going to face. That's when the snow starts to fall, and that's when you know it's snapped back. And Bert arrives. Bert knows him. Zuzu's pedals are in his pocket. And then the tricky thing about talking about the ending for me is like everything from this moment on, it's just blurry because it's just tears from now on. I've not actually seen it properly, the ending. But George sprinting down that street is so iconic. It's really funny when he bangs on Potter's window and he's just like, "Way!" Because Potter must be thinking, see that before? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
He's going to jail.
Exactly. He's going to kill himself last time I saw him. But then it's the reunion and group hug to end all group hugs when George gets home and everyone is pouring into the house. But it comes down to two moments for me. The first is when Ernie reads out the telegram from Sam, who says he's sending $25,000 to help George out.
Yeah.
Because all throughout the film, George has treated Sam quite shittily. He's never had a good thing to say about him. But there's a lovely touch from Stewart when he hears this and he just bows his head ever so slightly as if he's thinking, I should have been a much better friend to Sam because I did not deserve this. And it's a really humbling moment for him. But then here it is. It's the moment Harry's home and it's that toast to my big brother George, the richest man in town.
Boom.
There it is.
Oh, Niagara Falls.
Oh, God.
It's just unbelievable. It's so good because you feel exactly the way he feels. You are elated. Every single thing is just fine. There's not a problem. Everything's just wonderful. And, you know, it's just Mary yet again saving the day that you don't really realise. I mean, basically she sets up the best Kickstarter I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Just rallying around. She doesn't say we need money. She said he needs help.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, what does he need? It doesn't matter. It could have been anything, you know, but that it just happens to be money that he needs and that's fine. From Billy emptying that money out, I'm absolutely gone.
Yeah, me too.
From that moment on, it's just this absolute avalanche of joy. It's just this waterfall of overpowering human nature in its like purest form, and it's just its nicest form. It's just the way the world should be, and it's not allowed to be. And it just really gets to me that everybody loves this. Everybody wants to feel like this. But you just can't quite get there, and it takes films like this to show that it's possible to feel like that. That toast from Harry. The richest man in town. He's done it. He's beat Potter. He's won.
Yeah.
He's absolutely won by not caring about himself for his whole life. He can go anywhere he wants now, do anything he wants. He's a success. The building and loan's going to be fine. Everything's going to be okay. It's just a wonderful thing. And my absolute favourite from this whole end 7 minutes or so Harry gets a telegram. Bert goes to pick him up from the airport. I got him here as quick as I could. He still has a chance to go home and get his fucking accordion. I love that. You've got to get Harry there, man. 2 seconds. This is going to kick off. I need this shit. It's not in the back of his cruiser. Do you know what I mean? He's picked that up either on the way to the airport or on the way back to get Harry. Harry, 2 minutes, mate. I know you're going to see your brother, but fucking wait till I break this out at the party. His favourite bit about the end gets me every time. Love it.
Yeah, George Bailey running through the streets of Bedford Falls shouting Merry Christmas to everyone basically is Christmas to me.
Yeah.
One of the most beautiful things in any film. It's because they've earned it. 2 hours of backstory, which is there to basically set up the final 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But that 2 hours is still so engaging in its own right.
Yeah.
So when this comes, the feelings just go through the roof.
Yeah.
I love how it's all been shot, as well as the differences in lighting that we talked about. In Pottersville, George was filmed in all tight framing, loads of close-ups to make it all very restrictive.
Claustrophobic, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And then back in Bedford Falls, the cinematography completely changes. It's all wide shots, lots of open framing. The camera seems to move more fluidly, and that contrast works great.
Yeah.
And the Merry Christmases. Merry Christmas, Mr. Potter is great.
Yeah.
Potter must think George is completely flipped at that point.
Yeah.
Not just mortal. He's been to martinis.
Yeah. But my favourite, Merry Christmas, you wonderful old building and loan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get out.
Amazing. It's them tracking shots as well. When you get the shot of the building, it's going the same pace as he is.
Brilliant.
So it cross-cuts perfectly. Yeah, it's really great.
And then that final scene, one of the most iconic final scenes in any movie. First of all, how nice is Mary? She comes in and she sees strangers in a house and she just goes, oh, hello. Yeah. And it's so welcoming.
Is that an arrest warrant?
I'll just stick a chicken over the fire. Give us 5 minutes.
And the narratives are all pulled together and wrapped up perfectly. We managed to get references to all the previous characters without it feeling crammed in. Mm-hmm. Sam Wainwright, you said, mentioned. Tom shows back up. Great to see Annie back in there.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously Harry coming back in. But the bit for me that gives me goosebumps and gets tears in my eyes is when he gets the book and the message from Clarence. God. That's a message from a very dear friend of mine. What you doing?
Yeah.
But George's arc completes. Clarence gets his wings. The theme resolves itself when it turns out George was right to help people all the time. I mean, what more can you say? It's the greatest final scene of a Christmas film there'll ever be, surely. It's unbeatable. Yeah. It's got to be.
It's just that message as well. You've said it there from Clarence. It's just unbelievable. It's just thanks for the wings.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Attaboy, Clarence.
Attaboy, Clarence. And then the bell rings and then Susie's... Thanks for the wings. Imagine if it just cut to Clarence and KFC.
Buffalo wings.
Buffalo wings.
KFC missed a trick there. That should be the advert every Christmas, surely.
Definitely.
Clarence getting his wings.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, what more is there to say that everybody else hasn't said? Because this end sequence is just so effective. We all think the same thing.
Yeah.
But this is what it's been gearing up to. This is what we're saying about this ending is earned.
Yeah.
100%. Because it's been misery on top of misery, on top of despair, on top of suicide. And then the snow comes back and such a weight is lifted. I mean, Elena doesn't even come into it. George running like a madman through Bedford Falls, screaming his head off. Crazy. Yeah. But when he gets back home, it's probably my favourite final scene of any film. Mm-hmm. It never fails to slug me right in the gut. Like we've been saying, the image of George surrounded by Mary and the kids is wonderful enough. But when everybody in town begins to pour in, dumping money on the table, I mean, just getting goosebumps talking about it.
Yeah.
I generally go to see this film at the cinema every year. You know, it's always playing around here.
Yeah.
And I always dread this moment because it's guaranteed Niagara Falls, meaning credits roll and I have to walk out of the cinema with like a blubbing mess. So I'm usually like digging my nails into my hand or biting my hand so to take away like the possibility of tears.
Like Clarence biting your own wrist.
Yeah.
Joseph!
It is a perfect ending.
That bit when he takes the end off the banister and just kisses it and puts it back.
Oh, it's great.
Love anything like that, yeah. Kids!
But the one thread in the film that isn't tied up is that we never find out what happens to Potter for keeping the $8,000, if anything actually does happen to him at all. And Hollywood Films at the time was still operating under the Hays Code, and that stated antagonists in movies must either be punished or repent for their actions, which Potter never does.
Yeah, as far as we know, he makes off with the $8,000.
Yeah.
I guess Capra didn't want to interrupt the ending by cutting away to another sequence with Potter or something like that.
Yeah, that wouldn't have worked. There's no way to put it.
No.
There isn't. No.
But the Hays Code, they did demand some changes to the script. Goodrich and Hackett had to remove some words. They had to take out jerk, dang, impotent, lousy, I swear to God, and nuts to you. They all had to go.
Right. I thought the last one was going to be motherfucker.
Just from nowhere.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, motherfucker! Actually, at that moment, possibly you could have done that where he's Merry Christmas, Mr. Potter, and then the money's there on the desk, and his assistant who pushes him around could have shaken his head, not said anything, just left the room.
Yeah.
With Potter shouting after him and just left completely by himself.
Sort of thing you wouldn't notice first time round as well, wouldn't it? Which would be nice.
Yeah.
Just leaving the room, yeah.
In an early script, there is a scene where we see Potter approaching the Bailey house while the celebrations are ongoing, planning to return the $8,000. And there was another planned scene where Clarence confronted Potter about stealing the $8,000. But in this ending, Potter would get told he was going to hell and die after having a heart attack. But Capra decided this ending was a little too grim.
Yeah, it is a bit.
A little bit.
Imagine him rolling into the house with C4 strapped to his wheelchair. I'm not interested in your...
So we're at the end. The narrative threads, aside from the Potter one, are all pulled together pretty expertly. To say they land is a bit of an understatement. And when you're talking famous movie moments, the whole final act and final scene of It's a Wonderful Life is about as big as it gets.
The biggest.
Oh,
Huge.
gargantuan.
Reception and awards.
It's a Wonderful Life is a stone-cold Christmas classic nowadays, of course, but it wasn't always that way, was it?
Nope.
No.
ATRM's own angel, First Class, is here to fill us in on the reception of the film after its release on December the 20th, 1946. So take it away, please, Matt.
Yep. Just got me wings and everything. So, budget was $3.7 million, which was very expensive for the time. Mm-hmm. But it made just $3.3 million at the box office and left Capra $500,000 in debt. It did well at the Oscars, though, nominated for 5: Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor for James Stewart, Best Film Editing for William Hornbeck, and Best Sound Editing for John Ahlberg. And as we said, Russell Sheeman and Archeos Effects Department won a Special Technical Achievement Award.
Amazing.
A bomb at the box office then.
Yeah.
So Liberty had taken out a $1.5 million bank loan to pay for the film, so when it didn't make its money back, it put them in massive trouble. And Capra and his partners, the sold Liberty to Paramount Pictures in 1947, which is a real shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, the film bombing came as a bit of a shock. RKO had moved the release date forward from January 47 to December 46, as they were so confident with the film. Just before the premiere, Liberty Films held a private preview at the Ambassador Hotel in LA, attended by over 350 people, including Clark Gable, Gary Cooper and Claudette Colbert.
Right?
The audience reaction was so enthusiastic that fans mobbed the actors and the celebrities.
Yeah, the police had to be called apparently to control the crowd.
Incredible.
Riding over George Bailey. But I mean, you might think it would be the perfect time to release it, like post-war, people looking for something comforting.
Of course.
Or maybe that's just what they weren't looking for at the time, I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
Looks like it could have been.
And the plans to release it in January is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane.
Ridiculous.
I mean, the critics weren't bowled over with it at the time either. Bosley Crowther, writing for the New York Times, said, "The weakness of this picture is the sentimentality of it. It's a illusory concept of life. Mr. Capra's nice people are charming, and his small town's a beguiling place, but somehow they don't resemble reality."
Right.
Okay.
Well, Clarence doesn't. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think George is fairly complex and grounded, though.
Really grounded. Completely realistic, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And also at the time, Manny Farber wrote in the New Republic, "To make his points, Capra always takes an easy, simple-minded path that doesn't give much credit to the intelligence of the audience."
Wow.
I'd say it does cut some corners in the storytelling, maybe, like George and Mary getting married in the same sequence as they run on the bank, but it works for me. It doesn't feel convoluted.
There's nothing easy in the film. No.
I think it's just because it's simple. It seems easy.
And to finish on our man Roger Ebert, he reviewed It's a Wonderful Life in 1999, so over 50 years after it came out. What did he rate it out of 4, do we think?
Oh, of course it was.
Can't be
a
anything
four.
other than 4.
Yeah.
Of course, it was 4 stars out of 4, to the surprise of nobody.
Yeah.
And he said, "What's remarkable is how well it holds up over the years. It's one of those ageless movies like Casablanca that improves with age. Some movies should only be seen once. Others can be viewed an indefinite number of times. They improve with familiarity. It's a Wonderful Life falls in the second category.
Sure does.
Too true.
Roger's nailed it.
Yep.
Yeah, as always.
Nothing new there.
Mm-hmm.
In 1947, the year after the film came out, the FBI placed the film on their list of suspected communist propaganda. They issued a memo calling It's a Wonderful Life a potential communist infiltration of the motion picture industry. They said that Potter was written as an attempt to discredit bankers, which according to them was a common trick used by communists.
Common trick. Always casting Lionel Barrymore as Scrooge-type figures. Are they? These communists. Bloody commies.
Bankers. Oh, that banker's not a nice guy. Well, yeah.
It's a Wonderful Life was a real Christmas turkey at the time then, but that didn't last, did it?
Nah.
No, because after Liberty Films was sold to Paramount, It's a Wonderful Life sat gathering dust for years. And then in 1974, due to an error, the copyright wasn't renewed properly, and that led to the film passing into public domain. And that means it was free for TV stations to broadcast, so it started being shown on television every Christmas. The status of the film grew and grew, and then by the mid-80s, it was a firm Christmas classic. And since then, after all the copyright issues were sorted out, NBC broadcast the film every Christmas Eve in the United States, and Channel 4 do the same in the UK.
Wow, yeah.
And you watch it every year, right, Matt?
Absolutely do, yeah.
Yeah.
So quite the story for It's a Wonderful Life then. Off the screen as well as on. A flop on release and pretty much forgotten for 30 years before mounting a comeback Rocky would be proud of.
Absolutely.
Became a must-see movie and maybe the biggest Christmas classic of them all.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely up there.
That's what it is.
I would agree.
Sequels and influence.
There were never any sequels made to It's a Wonderful Life, but there maybe could have been one. In 2013, two producers called Alan J. Schwalb and Bob Farnsworth announced they would be continuing the tale in a sequel called It's a Wonderful Life, The Rest of the Story. I didn't realise there was a rest of the story, to be honest.
No.
That's got Hallmark written all over it.
It really has.
Yeah. Yeah, so the synopsis for the sequel is on IMDb. Do you want to hear it or not?
Definitely.
Okay, George Bailey's troubled grandson, also named George Bailey, so
Obviously.
not cutting corners there, is forever changed when his aunt Zuzu, played again by Carolyn Grimes, comes back as an angel and reveals how much better the world would have been if he had never been born. Right.
Right. Sounds a bit depressing. Just go and kill yourself, George.
Yeah,
Miserable.
that's it.
It never got far though. Paramount put the kibosh on it and they said, no project relating to It's a Wonderful Life can proceed without a license from Paramount.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, a
Yeah.
couple of absolute chancers, these guys.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah.
There've been no sequels, but both Jimmy Stewart and Donna Reed reprised their roles of George and Mary more than once when they appeared in a few radio versions in the 40s and 50s.
Nice.
The Lux Radio Theatre and Screen Guild Theatre both broadcast versions.
You can find those broadcasts online, so search for them if you'd like to hear them. It's always good for getting into the Christmas spirit.
Yeah, great.
In terms of the legacy of It's a Wonderful Life then, obviously a huge Christmas classic nowadays and a staple of the festive television schedule. How can we see its influence since 1946 though?
I think any Christmas film that was made since
Yeah.
has elements of it. And I mean, we've touched on so many references that we've just popped into our head as we've been talking about it, to be honest, over the last few hours. But anything that deals with the main character's redemption, within a redemption arc, with that kind of, you know, the search for truth, I guess, is always there. But I mean, The Bishop's Wife, which came out a year after this, I think that's got elements to it. Wings of Desire's got elements to it. And then further up the road, you've got Groundhog Day, which I think has massive elements to it.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think they tried to remake it. Well, in my opinion, they tried to remake it with Nicolas Cage and The Family Man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's just absolute testimony to this original idea, the original script, the acting, the technical prowess, everything. It just can't be duplicated. There's a lot of elements from this that have been taken over. We've mentioned Back to the Future. We've mentioned lots of other films, Grease. There's a lot that we've touched on, but nothing direct because it can't be copied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one of the most influential films ever made. Very difficult to summarise unless we've got a whole podcast. It certainly proved you could go to genuinely dark places with a mainstream, heartwarming film, and audiences would follow you there as well, which is surprising considering the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just going to zoom into two different films which are clearly indebted to It's a Wonderful Life. We've talked about one already. You can draw a direct line from Pottersville to the alternative 1985 and Back to the Future 2.
Mm-hmm.
complete with that scene at the cemetery, and Hill Valley is Bedford Falls as well. Bedford Falls, that town is pretty much a carbon copy of the town in Gremlins as well.
Yeah.
Along with Mrs. Deagle as Potter.
Yeah.
Which is also Hill Valley.
It's the same set, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it is the same set. And the second's a little left field. It's Blue Velvet, particularly the character of Mary. She's got such an evangelic quality, just like Laura Dern's Sandy in that film.
Yeah.
And David Lynch was often referred to as Jimmy Stewart from Mars, for good reason.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the legacy's huge. Probably more strongly felt today than it was in 1946. It seems like. I mean, nowadays it's part of Christmas. We said that it's on every Christmas Eve. It's become a ritual for millions of families. I think that's great. A film about community and togetherness becoming a kind of communal experience itself.
Yeah.
I mean, the influence on other films is huge. You guys have mentioned all the main ones, I think. But what I still notice about its legacy is that the message still resonates in the time of like social media where everyone's making highlight reels and comparing themselves to others far too much. This kind of says your life, your ordinary life, it has value, which feels more relevant than ever. And this proved that you can make a Christmas film that wasn't all fairies and lights.
Yeah.
This goes actually genuinely dark, deals with despair and suicide and corruption. So it changed what a Christmas movie could be. And I mean, that's just scratching the surface, probably. It's an enormous film with a legacy to match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can talk about the influence and legacy of this one and you'd find it hard to stop. You can see its legacy in other Christmas films. Billy's mother's watching it in Gremlins. Rusty is watching it in Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
And it really has become a generational film. It's one that's passed down again and again. And I think another part of its legacy is the legends making this in terms of their personal legacy. It's Capra's best film. It's Jimmy Stewart's best film, to the point where, and I'm sure we'll cover this at some point, but part of the horror of Vertigo is watching James Stewart and that going, but he's George Bailey. He can't be this disgusting and seedy and horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Outside of filmmaking, the film has also had a big impact on a town in New York State. Bedford Falls is a fictitious place made up for the film, of course, but there's a town in New York called Seneca Falls that claims to be the real-life inspiration for Bedford Falls. Although there's no documented proof that Capra was inspired by Seneca Falls, there are similarities between the two towns. Both have famous bridges, Victorian-era main streets, and a warm, small-town community. And Frank Capra is said to have visited Seneca Falls in 1945 when he was developing It's a Wonderful Life. Also, Rochester is where Sam is going to build his factory.
Yeah.
And Buffalo is where Harry is going to work for his new father-in-law. Both of those towns are only around 100 miles away from Seneca Falls in upstate New York.
Well, a barber from Seneca Falls said that he cut Capra's hair in 1945. So that's like some of the main proof, apparently.
Oh, right. Okay. That's convincing.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, if you're interested, though, you can have a look at their website, therealbedfordfalls.com.
Right.
And they actually put some pretty cool stuff on every year. You can take a ride on the Bedford Falls Express, or you can go to Mrs. Martini's pasta dinner.
Oh, amazing.
Or visit the Bells of Bedford Falls, or take part in the It's a Wonderful Life participation movie.
Nice.
Wow.
So, sounds like the place you're meant to be, Matt. Get yourself over.
Go on there next Christmas, tell you that now.
Let's all go.
A big legacy left by It's a Wonderful Life then. It's become part of Christmas, had a huge impact on pretty much every Christmas movie since. And if you're ever in New York during the holidays, maybe pop over to Seneca Falls for some of Mrs. Martini's pasta.
Oh, yeah.
Bring us some back.
Go for it.
Bit of carbonara, probably.
All the right movies ranking.
So that's that on It's a Wonderful Life. We've been through the full making of story, the film in detail and its legacy, and now's the time when we decide where the film will sit in the All the Right Movies canon. So Matt, do you want to start us off? Your summary and score for It's a Wonderful Life, please.
Yeah, you fellas know this. We talk about it all the time, but I'll go and see this on the big screen every Christmas. The Tyneside Cinema near us, they make that film the centre of their festive season. Like, they screen it every day, usually couple of times a day, and I usually go on the 23rd or Christmas Eve, and it's always a sold out screening, which is about 200 people. And at the end there's always this huge round of applause as the credits roll,
Led by you, obviously.
led by me. I'll stand up as well. I make sure stand up for this.
Kicking off.
Yeah, kicking off if they don't. And I think that's remarkable how much it's endured, and I think that tells you everything you need to know about how beloved this film is by people, how important it is to people. And as I said in the legacy section, it's a generational film. It gets passed down from generation to generation like a gift, because that is absolutely what it is. The amount of people who would be very different if it wasn't for this film, the way it makes them feel about things and look at things, is tribute to the power of it. And I'm certainly one of them. A 10 is not enough to do this film justice, but that is what I have to give it anyway.
Lovely. 11 for this one then.
No surprise.
And Westy.
I mean, it was sang its praises all the way through. It's an incredible piece of work. It's astonishing that everyone kind of knows it now, and it's just astonishing that happens, because for 30 years it didn't exist. It was just gone. Everybody loves it. There's not one person who I've ever met who says, I'm not that keen on It's a Wonderful Life. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Because it's just such a human story. There's just so many human emotions. It's so relevant. It's so powerful. It's so well made. It's so well acted. Jimmy Stewart's legacy he will live forever because of this film. Donna Reed will live forever because of this film. And I have found new ways of looking at things. And every year I look forward to it because I love how this film makes me feel. And us four talking about it, we're all quite different people, with different interests and different, ways of life, but we all feel exactly the same.
Yeah.
For a film to do that is one of the primary reasons I love this medium, and for me, this is one of the very, very best of them all. It's an easy 10.
Lovely.
Easy 10.
Yeah, I mean, It's a Wonderful Life. Much loved by millions of people, no question. The definitive film of one of Hollywood's great directors in Frank Capra, and one of its great stars in Jimmy Stewart, no question. The rest of the cast are brilliant as well. Donna Reed, Lionel, Barrymore, Henry Travers are all excellent. The writing, there's a few people had their hands in it, but it doesn't show. In fleshing out the much shorter version from Philip Van Doren Stern into a full feature screenplay, they did a brilliant job. It's great filmmaking all round. But I think talking about It's a Wonderful Life in those terms doesn't really tell the whole story. It's not just a great film, and it is a great film. It's the Christmas classic. I mean, not my favourite Christmas film, personally, but I think objectively, undoubtedly, the best Christmas film, to me. The message and the themes we talked about, kindness, community, helping others, you stand at Christmas fair, but Capra's exploration of that message is way deeper and much more thought-provoking than what you get anywhere else in any other Christmas movie.
Yeah.
I think it's the most artistic Christmas film, the best Christmas film still, many decades later. That's some achievement. And I watch it almost every Christmas and never grow tired of it. Always love it. So I also have to go top marks and give it 10 out of 10.
Of course.
There's higher powers at work here that this film exists.
It's Clarence.
It's Clarence. It is, yeah.
And Luke, your summary and score for It's a Wonderful Life, please.
Yeah, I'm like you, John. I don't think it's my favourite Christmas film, but personal preferences aside, it's almost certainly the best. I mean, without doubt. There's a reason why it's such an evergreen classic, that it's on repeat every year and always will be. There are channels that are dedicated back to back to back marathons of it.
Yeah.
For days on end. I can't imagine anyone would say that they don't like this film. I just, like you saying, Westy, that's an impossibility.
It is, yeah.
The direction's deft, the writing's superb, as are all the performances, and that's hugely underplaying everything at work here. I will watch it every year, and every year it'll make me look at my life and reinforce the things that should be treasured, the simple things you maybe take for granted: love, family, relationships, friendships, huge universal themes that are relatable across the globe, and they resonate, like you said right at the top, Matt, they resonate more and more with each passing year. I couldn't contemplate giving it anything other than 10 out of 10. It is a perfect film.
Amazing.
So another benefit of being an ATRM patron is that your vote will count towards the overall scores for movies we cover. So some of the comments on It's a Wonderful Life from our own wonderful community. First up, Bill Heiss, who said, a Christmas movie that goes dark. The pain on Mr. Gower's face as he's beating the shit out of George. George yelling at his kids and making them cry. Mr. Potter getting away with it because the fat assholes at the bank always get away with it. An uplifting ending where humanity and empathy might not save the world, but they might make a little corner where we can live. 10 out of 10. I'm crying just thinking about it.
Oh, wow. Wonderful words.
Beautiful sentiments.
A man whose words have more poetry than mine.
But I think it's an interesting point Bill makes there. I'm not sure it was Capra's intention, but Potter getting away with it as a rich guy kind of takes on a meaning of its own as well.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Corey Steptoe said, I give it a 9. These were my thoughts about it when I first watched the movie in 2011, and they still hold true today. Even though I can be a cynical, bitter, and antisocial bastard, I really enjoyed this movie and it did put a smile on my face. I also got teary-eyed during certain scenes.
Right.
Chewing up all the misery guts, this one, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it just?
That'll be a 10 next year.
And Andrew Shaw said, I've watched it every year for as long as I can remember, and I'm always surprised by how it never loses its power to move and delight. Easiest 10 I've ever given.
Oof,
Beautiful stuff.
Nice.
there you go.
So it's one of the best things about Christmas for our patrons. This and Pigs in Blankets for me.
Well, fair enough.
Every year, I eat about 5,000 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, as many as possible.
And altogether, our patrons rank the film as, what do you think?
Got to be straight 10.
Kicking off if it's not a 10.
It's got to be a 50.
A real Christmas gift, this one. Of course, it was 10 out of 10.
Beautiful.
Amazing.
70% of votes were a 10.
Wow.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
So that gives It's a Wonderful Life 50 out of 50 in total.
Biggest score we've ever given?
And I think it's the biggest score.
It is, yeah.
Not a massive surprise, is it?
No.
Not at all. No, not at all.
So that's everything we have on It's a Wonderful Life. We hope everybody's enjoyed it and you don't wish that you'd never been born.
That would be drastic.
And well, next time out, Luke, Matt and Westy, you're going deep undercover. She thinks he's a boring computer salesman.
Yeah.
He's actually a government spy. And he's Arnold. I and Jim and Jamie Lee Curtis as well, as you talk True Lies.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big one, isn't it?
Loads to get into on that one. The most expensive film ever at the time, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was huge.
And a final reminder, if you've enjoyed this episode and want to support what we do, you can become an ATRM patron over on Patreon. You get early access to our archived episodes, bonus episodes. You can submit questions for us to answer on the show, like the ones I've answered today. Vote on future episodes.
Yep.
Join the community. It's full of great movie fans. You'll get film recommendations in there, great chat, lots more, and you get to be part of it all. It's like our very own Bedford Falls.
It is.
What are you waiting for?
A wonderful community.
So head over to patreon.com/alltherightmovies to sign up.
Yes, indeed.
Also, you can find us on X at ATRightMovies, on YouTube, on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, TikTok. We've got a Facebook group, and our website is alltherightmovies.com. We're all off now to see if any of us have got our wings. I've not heard any bells ring in mine, so not looking good.
No.
Lumps of coal for us.
Yeah.
But simply have a wonderful Christmas time, everybody, and we'll be back with you with True Lies very soon.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.